All right. Question for this week. Oh yeah, first off, welcome to session 69.
Nice.
Nice.
Question for this week. How has this journey changed you? And I'm going to add the caveat, other than the physical sense. I already hear Richard being like, well, my left side is slightly lighter. And Cope's going to say, my skin is made of rocks.
Don't you dare read my thoughts. How dare
Look,
you?
you promised me it wasn't permanent.
You haven't looked into it much, have you?
It's lasting more than 4 hours. That's for sure.
Fergus has noticed he started to veer to one side as he walks.
He'll eventually get stuck in a corner like a robot.
So what was the question again?
How has this journey changed you? Like, what about yourself has changed?
Other than physical.
Other than physical. It's been like a year and a half of
Yeah.
perilous near-death situations, mystical revelations, and interacting with dwarven history. Someone's got to have gone through an arc here.
I think Nolgrim's definitely adopted a lot more, a stronger sense of duty and responsibility. He used to be a bit bookworm. Now he's got the full weight of the grudge blade on him, and yeah, I think he's just become a lot more duty bound.
He said duty.
On session 69.
Mm-hmm.
For Fergus, I think it's just a lot more willing to compromise at this point than he was originally.
All right, I'll put some air quotes around the word compromise.
Yeah, it's air quotey, but there is a little bit more compromise than he was willing to make originally.
Mm-hmm. Wearing the heavy armor to the corporation, that's a deal breaker.
I feel like
Yeah, at least he
mine's kind of
walked down
obvious.
the aisle.
Yeah, he did let someone else put the hat on his head.
But
That's not even
traveling with Fergus has changed Freya's perspective on people she would have considered outsiders or enemies of dwarves before. So, elves, drow, traveling with Fergus has made her realize maybe they're not all bad.
I
Maybe
mean,
we just
Fergus
got
is
some
basically an
generational
elf in a
issues we
dwarf
got to work
body.
out.
He's an elf poser.
Also, the fact that she really thought she was really thinking a lot about who defeated the dwarves and to figure out it was a dwarf and no other person.
Mm. That's very much holding up the mirror. It just leaves Taskell and Thrum.
When he's talking about like a dwarf did it to ourselves, all it makes me think of is that fucking scene of what's his name? He's this comedian like Andre something, where he shoots his co-host and is sitting in a chair and then turns back to the camera like, I can't believe someone's done this.
I remember that. Yes, the Eric and Andre show.
Who could have done this?
Thrum has become more in touch with his emotions.
Mhm.
And has learned that he can harness them or unleash them for good or evil. Or no, that's not the right word. For keeping himself quiet or letting himself become more powerful.
Watch out, guys. If he gets an acoustic guitar, he's going to go straight for the quad.
So what I'm hearing is he started off with a strong interior, soft exterior. Now he's a strong exterior, soft interior.
If any of you have ever been to a college campus, there's always some asshole who's out there playing a guitar. I'm just
Every
practicing.
time I've walked into a college, I've never even
Yeah.
gone, and I've seen that.
Yeah, every time, and they're always like,
It's always an acoustic guitar too.
Yeah, it's always an acoustic guitar, and they're always like, no, I'm just practicing in nature. I'm like, right, that's why you're trying to sing an emotional love song, and you sing louder whenever the girls walk by.
I'm so glad someone else noticed that besides me.
Yeah, we all notice it.
Oh yeah. We don't talk about it unless it encourages them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Voldemort.
I
Either
stepped
that
foot into
or
one
some
community college to talk
evangelical.
to an office one time, and there was like two guys in the middle of the park area with guitars.
My
Only
college
one of them could even
campus.
play a little bit.
My campus had a pastor that would be there just about every day of the week, just espousing a lot of hateful stuff, basically just trying to get people to punch him so he could sue him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of my best friends in college, apparently the way we met sophomore year, in the dorm, I slept 2 doors down from like the second story balcony. And one Saturday morning, he and two of his buddies went out on the balcony and were sitting out there playing guitar, singing. And I was hungover and wanted to sleep. And so apparently I slammed the door open and shouted at them that they were no talent porch monkeys, needed to get the hell off my porch, and like stood there with the door open and made them leave. Well, didn't make them leave, just stood there and tried to intimidate, and they left. I succeeded on my role. And years later, we became friends, and he was like, "Yeah, so do you remember how we met?"
All right. I believe that just leaves Taskell's answer to the question.
Yeah, let's see. Said a crisis of faith learned the burning hatred he has for the drow, though not really misplaced, was based on a falsehood with the story of Dammerhall's fall. Dammerfall.
The Dammergall.
Uh-huh.
See, now he has a reason to promote his racism.
Basically befriended a Druger, which kind of a surprising thing in and of itself. I'd like to think he's gotten a little more open to ideas because he can see the wisdom in Fergus's attempts at negotiation and working with other peoples, especially after our people's basically shattering, spreading around the world. That's before the adventure, I guess. But it grew on the adventure. Yeah. I don't know. He's changed a little bit, but I think the crisis of faith has put him a little more on the path of worshiping all three instead of specifically the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Now he worships the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
The objectively coolest one.
I mean, who doesn't want to worship a ghost?
Yeah.
Well, you say that now that Milgrim's, revived.
Listen, some ghosts.
Oh.
All right. Got all that recorded. All right. So, before we get into it, Michael, you got my message in the handout, right?
The handout and
What?
you just said you see my message. And
You're muffled
really
and
muffled.
far away.
Yeah. I can't understand you, man. It's like you're speaking through a solo cup.
Pull the string tighter.
So, how about this month's Sky Mall catalog?
Yes, I have the message you sent me in Skype, but if there's a handout in Roll20, it hasn't been shared with me.
All right. I will double check because it should be handouts, magic items, Act 4. I'll double check to make sure I've actually put it in.
Act
Yeah.
4.
Mm.
Oh, wait, there it is.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure that all got conveyed.
All right, yep, I got it.
All right. So, I thought before we got too deep in the session, I would explain how kingdom management here is going to work. So we can put it near the front of the recording for you guys all to go back and listen to. So I will move you over to the dashboard.
Yeah. March Masters rotted my brain. Can't hear it without it going. But we still had the radio.
Huh?
Something about radio.
One of
Video
their
kit.
one of their major songs was Dashboard off of
Oh, you
ship
said
sang.
radio, and I thought the radio
the
radio store.
The refrain of it goes, the dashboard melted, but we still had the radio.
Mm.
I'll
All
share
right.
it later.
So, after going through about 50 iterations of different kingdom building over the last year of running this campaign, I have ultimately settled on this system, which is actually an entirely different role-playing game system. I just kind of haphazardly grafted onto the side of 5e.
So all this talk about customizing things for 5e, it's a cell burn. I see how it is.
Yeah, I see what it is. I know. I was just talking about people not being willing to try other systems. We do other systems.
Oh yeah.
You guys
No,
know I drag you into something every 4 months or so.
Do.
All right. So what we have here is a kind of pseudo dice pool system. Is that whenever you wish to do something with your kingdom, you will construct a pool of dice based upon certain things you have access to. It always requires one officer, which you will notice is each of your names here. I'm using little icons for the dice sizes, so you guys all should be able to see those names, right?
Mm-hmm. Are like D8s versus D10s?
Yeah, D8s, D10s,
A D6.
IVs, a D6.
Gotcha.
Those are actually based upon an attribute plus your proficiency bonus rounded down. That's what I asked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
And then a kingdom attribute. We'll get to assigning those in a moment, but you have might, commerce, lores, industry, and influence. I don't know why I pluralized lore. It says lore, but you get the idea. Those are the 5 basic attributes of your kingdom. So whenever you would want to do anything, you describe what you want to do, and then you'd always have to have a minimum of 1 officer and then only 1 kingdom attribute. Those would be your dice pool. From there, you can add any number of distinctions and assets. You also have a die size that you could add to the pool. Just so long as they thematically make sense for whatever you're trying to do. They are the difference between distinctions and assets are they're functionally the exact same thing. The difference is distinctions are generally descriptors and don't go away, such as dwarven population, where assets are usually physical things or temporary things. For example, you start with the Forge Fane, which is a large blacksmithing area within the top ring of Dammerhall, and population enthusiasm, which that little green 3 means that you can use it 3 times before it goes away, because the dwarves are super excited to get their city back. So you can include that on anything where you think people being gung-ho making it so.
And what's the Forge Fan again? I didn't understand what you said before.
It's like it's like a big blacksmithing temple place.
Gotcha.
So then after you've constructed your dice pool, you would then roll all the dice, and you look at each result individually, and you pick any 2 of those dice that you rolled, and you add their results together, and then you're going to try to meet or beat a difficulty number, which is what I'm going to be. I roll my own 2 dice against that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Other than that, we have stresses. Stresses are bad things going on in your kingdom right now. Like right now, you have a D10 of population stress because you have an extremely low population. If you undertake any action that I think one of the stresses would be affecting on, I can then add that to what I roll to create your difficulty number. For example, a really easy roll would be like 2d6, and then I just add those 2d6s together. But if I thought your low population would factor in, I would roll a 2d6 and 1d10, and then I'd pick the two highest. So it's in your best interest to try to mitigate those, because they can go up to d12. And if you have a d12 in a stress and it goes over, it becomes I call it a crack, but the actual rules call it trauma because they weren't doing it for kingdom building, they were doing it for people. But the point is that a crack is like one of the permanent like errors in your empire, one of those, the things that are like the signal of the fall. They are functionally the same as stress, but they
Linger.
They linger. They can't be removed, and I can still add them into all the roles that I think would be relevant. Get too many of those, and it all comes crumbling down. For the sake of simplicity, I have the all stresses hidden except for population, because you currently only have population stress. But the other stresses there's population stress, economic stress, political stress, and civic stress. Your actions that you can undertake can then reduce the number as dictated by me, the GM. Sometimes for like economic stress, you can just have some sort of, you can just hand wavy economic plan. You don't have to give me an actual spreadsheet to reduce it. But in like the case of population stress, you just physically don't have enough people right now. So that's where Fergus's diplomacy is going to come in to reduce that. The reason why I picked this particular dice rolling system is because it allows a lot of freeform creativity for you guys. Because a lot of things, be it new like buildings or organizations that you found, can be assets or distinctions that I can just assign a die size to. So that way, every decision that you do can have some sort of actual mechanical impact. Because even though you only choose the two highest dice that you roll, the more dice in a pool, the better. There's also on some rolls where it's progress over time, but I will get to that when it becomes relevant. I don't need to front load you with everything. Any questions about any of this so far?
Seems simple enough right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we will be advancing through kingdom management in kind of a turn called a season. Literally, it's one season for each of the 4 seasons. So we'll start slipping by the years here pretty quickly, but that's kind of the time frame I picked because it made sense. If you want to build a castle, you wouldn't throw it up in a single week.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Each one of the officers that see you guys can be your dice can be used once in a single season. Multiple officers can be used on the same test. It just has to make sense for why there would be like a collaboration between 2 different domains of power within the kingdom. Why is the industry person collaborating with the army on this project or something like that? It's about, the dice are not only about your own personal capability, but also the organization underneath your command. You can also always pass and just not do anything if you don't want to. Because there's a lot of hand wavy like day-to-day administration that's obviously happening no matter what.
Gotcha.
And then at the very last thing, which is my big addition to this system, is at the end of every year, so after 4 seasons, we have budget reconciliation. Certain aspects that you'll do will
of course you say yay.
will have a budget increase like +1 or +2 or +3. And then at the end of the year, the master, the vault warden, who is Thyrus, will then do a roll using any assets or distinctions and probably commerce to see if he can meet or beat that number. If he fails to beat that number, then you will gain a stress of some kind. You guys can kind of choose. Because, obviously the default would be like economic stress. But if you start leaning on the ability to make up for the lost budget, we could say that causes political stress instead. So currently your
mind-
budget. Yep.
Go-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, would you mind putting like the offices above the die, so like Warthane above me, just so I
I mean, sure. Presumably everyone
I was
remembers
thinking
their own.
the same thing.
Oh,
right, but I was saying I know mine, but I need a bit of a reminder for some others of what their specific role was.
All right. Let's
Mhm.
see here.
I can put it in if I need to know what they're all called.
Yeah, so Taskell is the High Speaker of the Temple, so you can just call it High Speaker. Thrum is the Hold Warden. Freya is the Forge Thane. Milgrim is the War Thane, and Ivy is the Master of Moles.
And the whole warden's like the local law enforcement, right?
Yeah,
Police.
local law enforcement / internal security. It's kind of a morphic title. I mean, if you
I
want to
gotcha.
use real life parallels, an actual official police force wasn't founded until the Victorian era of London.
Mhm.
That was Yep.
I was typing, but I couldn't go as fast enough to
Yeah.
put it all in. So what was Freya's?
Forge Thane.
Forge thing. Sorry, I'm a slow typer.
No
What's
worries.
Milgram's?
Warthane.
War Thane.
And then finally Ivy's.
Master of Moles, or Spy Master, whichever you prefer.
Cool.
All right. So before we get too into it, you guys get to choose what your kingdom attributes are going to be. This will be an out-of-character decision because it's just one of those, oh, it coincidentally works out like that.
Mhm.
You can have one die as a D8 size. One die has to be a D4 size, and then the rest will be D6s. They can increase in time after big roleplay things within Kingdom Management, but this is just starting us off.
I feel like industry should probably be the D8. That feels pretty important, especially in a dwarven society.
That's what would industry be, or what would it represent? Because I always think of that as kind of their form of commerce.
Industry would be how good you are at physically building things, buildings, weapons, blacksmithing, large construction projects.
Oh, so like completely refurbishing Dammerhall? Yes, I concur.
Honestly, at that point, I'd probably say the commerce should be the D4 because we're basically rebuilding the place, not quite from scratch, but
I was gonna say might be the lowest one because we have a very small population, so our sheer strength might not really be up to snuff.
that's a good argument too.
Yeah,
Are
I like
these
both
things
of
that
that.
will gradually be built up, or are they
Yeah,
locked into that?
So
They
So
can
what
be
is
gradually
might
built up.
exactly?
Might is your
Is-
ability to throw troops, just a formalized army, as well as a just like throwing your weight around. It's physically able, like whenever you would need to clear out bandits of an area, that would be might.
What would lore be?
Lore would be anything from religious knowledge to academic research, scholarly pursuits, research projects, as well as legal documentation and paperwork. For example, if you're wanted to negotiate with another power by referencing an obscure trade deal, that would be lore, not commerce, because you're not physically leaning on them with money. You're like, I have this ancient text from the vault that says.
And what are all the dice that they need to fill up?
We just need
one
a
more to be a
D4
D6.
and the rest are D6s, right?
Mhm.
Or is it one D4 and the rest D6s, or is it one D6 and the rest D4s?
No, it's 1d4 and then the rest will be d6s.
Okay.
I think might
uh,
should be D4.
I agree with that. We're really young, and Milgram's hoping to build that back up.
Freya,
Although
Where are
we
you?
do have the the
And this is an out of character decision as
Yeah.
well, just so you guys
Yeah.
know.
I could
although it
also
could
be
be-
convinced of influence, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like commerce and lore should probably be not the lowest of the four
Yeah.
that we have left.
I think at this point could be the lowest because that'll give us a chance to build up.
Although I do know
I
Michael was
would
trying to say
second.
something, so I wasn't sure. I didn't want to keep interrupting.
well, Gamba said it's an out of character decision.
well, out
But-
of character as far as players decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in character, Freya would be wanting to prioritize industry and the military because we do still have a red dragon that we've got to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to come at it as like, what would we realistically have at the start of this with the smaller population and such? Like commerce, we could say that there would be people who had some trade deals before they joined Dammerhall, so the commerce isn't the weakest we have. Influence, we do have the fact that we are on the throne of Dammerhall. And lore, that one, like I said, that could be that or might for me.
I don't know. I could also, out of character, I could see lore just not coming up until we're much more well established. Like, we aren't going to do any, research how to build a super dwarven thing for a while.
I don't know, because we may want to rebuild that, that forge that was destroyed.
The Golem Foundry,
Yeah.
you would need to research the magic, and that would definitely be lore.
Oh, that wouldn't be industry.
Well, physically constructing it would be.
Yeah, but as far as
Figuring out how to
rebuilding
rebuild it.
all that stuff, yeah.
I say let's just go might.
Yeah.
I hope if our might can't deal with it, we'll go attack them as a party.
We could start with a low might and just see if we could build that up, like make that a bit of a priority. Because
I figured what would it be? It would be the lowest, but that would be one of our stronger priorities is to build up a good, solid defense.
Yeah, because right now we just have a small voluntary militia.
And and it also tracks with the fact that what Loki just said.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, might is the D4, the rest are D6s.
All right.
I think at least the majority rules there. So.
Mm-hmm. Then again, Freya's the one with the headband.
Yeah, she could just tell him to smite all of us and just take over as that king.
Just activate it and turn it into a D8 automatically.
Just go into that room, get that nut, and just crack it and have him come back. Nut crack, Bendrak come back. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Sometimes my shower thoughts are actually on point.
Shower thoughts are the best thoughts.
Yeah. And I have this you see the big gray area over here. That's where the map is going to go when it's done. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea of rather than giving you guys a million handouts, having it visually on the dashboard like this, make it a little bit.
No, I like it.
I concur. This is very nice.
Yep. All right.
I think most people are visual.
Mm-hmm. And I made all these little dice tokens multi-sided, so I could just right-click them and easily shift their side.
I was like, when I first saw it, I'm like, this is what he did, and I know he did because that's just a smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, does it go up to D20 or how's the dice progression?
I imagine D12.
I believe it caps out at D12.
Okay.
I do have a D20 just in case, but it is traditionally caps out at D12.
Okay.
And there's a few other small, little nuance things, like if you start butting heads with another kingdom, they have their own dice pools, but that's not going to affect you guys. That's just what they roll. Mm-hmm. And reducing difficulty over time and stuff like that. But I'll get that as it comes up. Any other questions before we get into the thick of it?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
I pop down what I've got for the general points at this point. The risk of there still being intelligent undead in the depths. That sounds dragon, which Michael brought up, and the dark. So, just as a thing for people to consider for initial phases. And Michael, I'm pretty sure that's all the background noise from you.
Do we have a handout we could use to just? Oh, we have. Can we make a handout for kingdom notes where we could just kind of put list of projects and track all that stuff for us?
Sure. You guys are obviously free to, in character, sort of band together and come up with stuff as much as you want. But I just encourage you to think about everything as in character as possible.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for this first time of actions. Just act like we're sitting down at the War Council or the big table and just hashing things out as we start things off.
I do have a question, Gombo.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to sending letters out to different factions and groups, would each letter be a different action, or could I send the bulk of the letters out as a single action to be sent out?
This would be one of those abstraction of kingdom building things where it would probably be a role that would probably be you, your dice, Fergus, and then influence, and that would like abstractly represent, an exchange of letters and emissaries coming and going, and then in role play, long, boring political gubbins. And then once you succeed the role, then we can get to the, the exciting in role play meeting the face person.
Yeah. Second point, I had basically broken down some of the factions of the dwarves that I'd be sending similar letters to. Like I'll breaking it up to you, and if you think it makes sense, if I could do a single roll for the like 2 or 3 that might fall into the same category. But I'll like I said, I'll discuss it with you because I have certain talking points that would be addressed to basically the same groups at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure how that would go, but I'm fine with doing one at a time. I just wanted to know.
Yeah. All right. So I think at this point we're probably good to slide into role play and decisions. Yeah, go ahead.
Hand up. Did we do a recap?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Founded the kingdom.
Yeah, we founded the kingdom. You had a conversation with the god. Nilgrim is back to life now.
Okay, I couldn't remember if Nilgrim decided to do it or not. Okay.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah, he's not a ghost. He's flesh and blood. We had the Fergus's big coronation. There was some hullabaloo about him not wanting to wear clothes.
Mm-hmm. The king in his clothes.
And then I spent the last bit of the session explaining a lot of the current ongoing problems and thoughts for each of your prospective domains within the kingdom that will need to be decided upon. So hopefully you guys wrote those down. I want to give them a look-see.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine a lot of mine is going to be more the bureaucratic talking to people side. So
right, and as the king, you're probably of all the officers are the one most likely to be able to assist anyone else with their thing by having your dice be included in theirs, because there's a solid argument for the king to be involved in just about anything.
And have other dwarves started arriving at this point?
Yes, the entirety of Clan Hallforged has arrived and is here. So you are able to make stuff happen within the kingdom, but you are still very low population, hence the D10 of population stress. But that's where you get your distinction, dwarven population.
Cool. And Hallforged are our people, right?
Correct. There's a small trickle of like minor clans that are kind of the hangers-on of Clan Hallforged, but for the most part, yeah.
So bring it up to the group. I feel like one of the bigger issues we have, like immediately, is the fact that we still have undead roaming around. So I think the first.
Do we? I thought we had 2 months.
I thought we still had some intelligent undead still kind of like in the lower districts. Didn't we just talk about that?
I know that you stored the entirety of the Black Iron Army in the lower districts,
Gotcha.
which I think is what Ivy would probably bring up, whatever council meeting you are. How big of a secret do you want that to be? Is it one of those we don't go to Ravenholm situations on the 4th and bottom level of Dammerhall, or are people who ask too many questions needing to start to disappear?
Norgrim would have a feeling on that. He would make it known. I think we need to let it be known what that metal is made of, and see if we could use that as a unifying force to bolster our industry and our scientific or our arcane studies. See if we could get that unifying drive to salvage the souls from that metal.
Great idea. What if we can't salvage the souls?
Well, that's one of the reasons I was bringing it up, because if we're trying to do that, the most likely things we should contact, in my opinion, is there's 3 different groups of dwarves that could all lend different solutions to this, I feel like. There's the Clan Grimpire, which are the undead hunters ones. There's the scholars, the Embermane ones. They're scholars, runesmiths, and apparently known to metal. And then there's the paladins, but they're a little slow to decide things, apparently. So it might be better to wait for them.
I feel like Embermane seems the strongest.
Yeah. Again, if they might meddle, but it feels like they're going to get involved no matter what. So better to try to get them involved faster.
Mm-hmm.
We need artificers.
Yeah. So I imagine that'll be my first act then, is to try to send out a runner to Clan Embermane to speak about a possible solution. Basically, the letter would largely, he wouldn't directly say, "Oh, hey, we have some black iron that's trapping the souls of our ancestors."
Yeah.
It would be like,
a non sequitur.
"Hey, we request an audience with the elders of Clan Embermane to discuss a possibility to did someone disconnect or did I disconnect?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I just heard a beep being like it was trying to reconnect for a second there. Anyway, tell them that we're requesting an audience, that we have hope to unite the clans once more, and their help in possibly reconnecting all of the clans with our ancestors in the great beyond, or whatever we call it, could very well hinge on the unification of our clan as well as Clan Embermane.
We can just see that actually being in the letter. The Great Beyond, or whatever we call it.
He probably had to go ask somebody to make sure. He's like, okay, what do we call this?
I do want to touch back on what Nolgrim said. I don't think it's a good idea to let people know until we know for sure we can get the souls back.
But how are we going to know unless we
Yeah,
get
I
people
think
in?
I think it needs to be something we make known, because it's only a matter of time until people wander down there anyways.
Yeah, and my thought is, if we keep this from other clan elders of other tribes, they might use that as an excuse to war against us. They were hiding
And-
such a important thing, that, connection to our ancestors from the other clans. Like, we're not going to go parade it, but when we get when they basically respond to the delegation meet up, we communicate, hey, so X, Y, and Z happened. You
And
need to figure
again,
what's going on.
the issue isn't knowing how. The issue that unifies us is trying to figure out how, that common goal. And I think there's at least a few factions that would be invested in trying to figure that out, even if it's just to experiment with the metal itself, and those that are more concerned about the souls trapped within.
Look, y'all can tell them whether or not that it's made of souls, but I definitely think we ought to spread the word that we have a giant army made out of golems.
And but I think first and foremost, we don't let them know who was behind all this. That I feel like that is something that needs to be buried along with the one. And just jot it off to some unknown lich or other powerful undead being. Because that's still the truth. We just don't name them.
Yeah, at the very least, until we have some more power under our belts, because, oh, hey, your ancestors the one that doomed the dwarves? Why are you fucking sitting on the throne?
I still don't believe he was of his own, under his own control. I think he was corrupted by some kind of demon or devil or.
Nolgrim would look over at Freya on her brow and say, or artifact.
Or artifact, but we probably haven't found it yet.
It's possible, but I would think the plan predates the forging of whatever artifact it might be.
But either way, I think the name should remain buried, but everything else can be revealed. The army of undead, the twisted dwarven souls, obviously the war machines that were made from our ancestors. I think that is a tragedy that would help unify us, and again, have that drive to learn more about that dark iron and see if we could reverse the process.
It's definitely a thing that would have affected all the clans equally.
That's why I figured we should probably get involved with the scholars. And honestly, I feel like the paladins, and the undead hunters could all have equally valid opinions on how to go about this. But scholars probably should be our priority then if we're going to try to get that under wrap.
Yep.
Also,
Either that or the artificers. Again, they would both be motivated for the ancestors, but also be motivated for the research. And I think
well, I
we'd
mean, the
certainly
scholars and
benefit.
runesmiths, I think, are both the Embermanes. So I think those are largely the
There's
same.
clan forged worn, ironmongers, and war artificers. Mixture
Okay.
of traditional and non-traditional.
I actually had an idea for them I was actually just going to bring up.
Mhm.
So you know how we have that stupid underwater ocean? I'm thinking a dwarven navy. They want to go to war. We need to get that shit under control.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And what better way to use warmongers than to literally wage war on the underwater or underground open seas?
Okay,
I mean-
Mr. Torg. For your next quest, kill the ocean.
Yes, very much so.
I mean,
Also, we are going to have to deal with those psychic fish that tried to possess us eventually, and we could inform them of things being able to take over their minds, and if they're good artificers, they should be able to find a workaround to prevent that on their ships.
and I think there could be certain benefits to having naval supremacy in the Sunless Sea.
And the best way to do this also, because we would offer them the rights to, once they can take possession of the seas, they have the rights of trade through that said sea.
Plus, you know, we know some people what has a submarine.
Mm-hmm. That's another one I'm going to be probably doing. I want to try to converse with Corsiconia and find a way to maybe set up a trade deal that we can gain access to where we first came down back a year ago, and possibly set up a base there that we can begin trading with the deep gnomes through there. Because that's the safest route, I think, to get to their location. Instead of having to go through the underground, if we can work out a deal with Corsiconia, we can go top ground through there, and they get like a percentage of our trade profits for a certain amount of X years in exchange for that location in their lands.
It's also the Zan and Skizrael.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that I can't remember the dark gnome, deep gnome.
Yeah, the deep. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I meant like the deep gnome village, and there's
Yeah.
also a city I think closer to there than it would be to go through the underground.
You mean
Yeah.
Ivy's Town, which we now own?
Ivy's Town, and there's also a bigger deep gnome city I don't think we ever went to.
Yeah, the archaeologists said they were from it. I don't know if they gave us.
Yeah, there is a gnomish kingdom that was off the map to the deep south.
Yeah. They would be also a potentially beneficial trade partner, especially if we can provide a location where they can trade above ground safely, and then eventually have enough authority that we can also help patrol down there to keep the places safe for trade.
Yeah, geographically, that deep gnome kingdom, not Faster Vault, the one that you never went to, it's off the map. It is a pretty good distance away from you. They're not like your next door neighbors like Corsiconia or the Drow. They're like a distant power.
Yeah, but
And-
still the fact that they're there.
Right.
And-
It's like the difference between England and Italy.
Yeah.
And it might
Well,
be
we
good
also
to.
helped rediscover that one deep gnome.
Yeah, I was about
city.
to say that
So
as that
I,
gets built up, it would
I
probably
at
be good
least-
to partner with them.
I at least am needing to talk to the scholar that we met.
Yeah.
That I don't quite remember the name of, but I have written down.
And they also might be a good outlet, like not maybe immediately, but if we have trouble figuring out about this black iron, they probably have a more unique scholarly expertise that if we are hitting a wall eventually, they might make good, like if we need like to get down to basically a new trail of thought if we get stuck somewhere in this whole thing. The gnomes
They
do have a
tinker
different
good.
way of, yeah, they have definitely a different way of thinking than dwarves that could be beneficial in the long run.
Also, whatever sort of agreement we can work out with making those telescopes since we have the formula.
Yeah.
I told them we have the formula.
Yeah.
We should really mass produce those and sell them on. I'm just spitballing here, but
I forget,
something called Amazon.
I did tell them about it, but did I tell the party that I have that?
I don't remember. It was so long ago. I'll say that's up to you. But you,
I probably would have told Freya and Nolgrim, but I definitely would not have told Thrum.
About what?
About the fact that I have the schematics for the
Night Eye
spot-
telescope.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like I definitely would not have told Thrum. I'm on the fence about Taskell, just because if I told Taskell, he'd probably tell Thrum.
Freaking stole like a lost legend artifact thing, and he just tells the guy, "Yeah, I'm taking this."
I did tell him I don't plan on using it, and Fergus does agree with that right now.
Yeah, we
Honestly,
need
I would
to.
not say mass produce it and sell it because it would be a serious military advantage in the Underdark.
Agreed. Especially
We
if
should.
we plan on having.
But if we get them on our side, I imagine the dwarves, like in terms of history, are probably better at procuring materials than gnomes would be. So a trade agreement to have them produce it and us provide the materials to basically supplement the cost for us obtaining them
Oh,
could be
what would
beneficial.
be the most direct path? How far?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to
From
trade
Lyco.
with. We need to get an agreement with Corsiconia because where we came down originally when the game started
Mhm.
is in Corsiconian lands, but it is like a direct line to the Underdark nearest to where we know that the gnomes are.
Yeah, it would be months of travel through the Underdark around back up there. It would
Yeah.
be maybe a week or two overland.
Plus,
Okay.
Plus however long it takes to scale the fucking dropping off point.
Exactly.
Yeah, and who knows how much drow involvement would get involved there if we do it the overland route. It's much safer for the gnomes. It's much safer for our people.
Mm.
Plus, the
We
only
have
path back to the Sunless Sea was that
Yeah.
secret passage you
Yeah.
had, which collapsed. So you'd have to go through the Underdark Gate in Dammerhall, which goes to the region of the Labyrinth of Demise that you have not been to.
Yeah. Also, it's a more direct line to the Skizrel and the
Yeah.
Zan.
mushroom people, Zan. Yeah. All of which could be very beneficial trade partners because they need stuff that we could probably provide, and the silk as well as the Zan. I can't remember what the Zan had, but I know they have something pretty useful.
Alchemy. There are
Alchemy.
shit tons of alchemy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I
Do
learned
we-
a lot of the alchemy I think I have. So
Do we want to make it a point to see how that dwarven mine fared, if it's been taken over, or if we need to retake it? And
I mean,
reclaim
I could
ours?
teleport us there, but once we're there, we're kind of stuck there until the next day.
Mm.
So if they are taken over, we're in trouble.
Do we have a way to scry?
I don't know. You're the magic books.
I don't have
That
it.
mine is the one with the ghost, right? And the scar or whirlwind or whatever it was.
Mhm. The Earth Wound, that one that you roofied the guy talking about.
Clerics do have the scrying spell. It costs. You need a crystal ball, silver mirror, or something with holy water that costs 1,000 gold, and then you can just cast it at a 5th level spell.
Mm.
So if we have the money to do that, that'd be the best way to scry. But again,
I'm
I
very
feel like
curious if they found a way into that room.
I would like to set up shop there again eventually too, but we're gonna have to work out a truce with the elves, which is also gonna be a whole other heap of trouble.
I agree.
You are at a truce right now.
We're at a truce,
and,
but like,
and I feel like our visit was on pretty positive terms.
yes, but there's also doing that with us versus all of the dwarves, and how it's gonna feel like if we do decide to set up shop there, and that means we're gonna have much more closer connection with the elves again.
There would
Maybe if
definitely-
we treat
there
that
would
as
definitely
a
be tension, but so long
Yeah.
as you were in the mountain, what you were left the impression of last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we turn that mine into a refer to it as a where diplomats typically reside.
Diplomatic
Embassy?
community.
Mine/embassy.
Embassy, that's the one.
Mhm.
slash embassy slash tavern.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like if we refer to it as an embassy, we'll also make it more appealing.
Mhm. That's probably not on the list of direct
No,
priorities right now.
We need to build up our army first. Speaking
So,
of,
Yeah.
between
My first action is so we can just solidify it. I'm going to contact the Embermane clan. Get them involved with the.
do we only
the
get to?
research.
Do we only have time?
That
to
would
do
be my
one
action,
clan?
I believe.
No,
for sure.
you can each you can take as many actions in a season as you have officers. So.
Right. I was just curious. Does his action have to be between one of the clans, or could he do it with multiple?
That's what I did ask before.
Only one
Okay.
at a time.
Okay. Yeah. Then
You
I
can
think
you can
Evergreen is the
in
best to go
roleplay
with.
be sending emissaries,
Yeah.
but like
In roleplay, I'm
mechanically,
sending the letters out for all
Yeah.
the clans,
Yeah,
Corsiconia, all that stuff.
Yeah, and that
Just
would make sense. That
the role is for what bears fruit.
yeah,
We are
and,
going about
3
building-
months to wine and dine a clan seems
Yeah.
about right.
We are going about this whole building an army and a nation thing in the complete wrong way. We need to start a Russian-style family inclusion program where you give people medals for the more kids they have. That's real. I watched a whole documentary on it. It's
It
crazy.
definitely is. Yeah.
Like this guy, and he just has like all of these military medals going down his like jacket, but not because he's ever served a day in the military, because he's got like 16 kids.
Yeah. There's a reason why if I ran a Call of Cthulhu campaign, I like the idea of having it set in Soviet Russia, because the contrast of like there's Lovecraftian horrors, but the most fucked up stuff is just people. It's kind of wild.
I like that. That actually seems like such a unique take.
Yeah.
Look at some eldritch being like, I'll get to that later.
Anyways, jokes aside, yes, let's talk to the leaders of that artificer clan. I don't know if you just gave Fergus the one, but we don't have the thing that has any of the clan names on it.
Yes.
I wrote it down to explain for myself, since I figured I'd be doing a lot of that. But
Yeah,
Was that
I kind of assigned each. I kind of gave each of you information about your own thing, and then any information should be conveyed in role play, because you're the person that knows the most about that domain.
That's true. That's fair. I like that.
That
I
way,
like that.
both out of character, you don't have to be an expert on the entire kingdom.
Right.
Richard's the only one that really has to concern himself with foreign politics. He can keep you guys in the loop, but he's the one that's keeping track.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I'll have Thyra speak up here at this council meeting in kind of out of character voice. What about any sort of domestic concerns currently? A lot of talk about foreign power interaction, but what about internally?
Internally, I think obviously need to decide what sort of military we want to build up. I'm thinking go the professional route, especially as things might potentially be politically turbulent for the next little while.
Well, even with the need for security, the housing situation at the moment is going to be our biggest pressing issue. Even the military needs somewhere to sleep.
That's very true. That's a fair point. Yeah,
rebuilding probably should be a priority.
rebuilding. Yeah, I think that should be the focus of our industry for these next while. Is we need to start rebuilding. How much of the current floor? How long would we, based off like just influx of people and all that? How much could the top tier house and sustain?
I don't have hard numbers, so I will just say for your current clan intake, enough.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the question was, roughly if things stay the same, about how long will we have to start looking into this next ring down to start building up to make sure we have room for people?
Well, I think we need to do it immediately.
I feel like we need to finish the first layer that we're actually already sleeping on before we worry about any other layers.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
that's kind of what I meant. I
Because
think
we don't know
the
what's
first-
hiding up here with us, and then we don't know what's hiding below us.
Well, this layer was mostly untouched, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the one that had the least amount of brutality
Yeah.
and adventure.
Gotcha.
So
I
layer
would-
2 is the second layer, because if you think about it like a stack, layer 1 is the peak above the earth and the mountain where you are. Below that is layer 2. That is the one that is at level with the surface, that has the bridge going out into Corsiconia.
Mm.
Below that is level 3, which is the semi-mined, semi-industrialized zone. That's where the Golem Foundry was. And then level 4 below that is the sort of like raw mines that are just tunnels. That's where you have the Black Iron Army stored.
Okay.
The Underdark Gate is on layer 3. Now, presumably, because you guys aren't crazy, you have some people kind of like checking on different areas. I remember one of the things I talked to Nilgrim about was the security of the different gates and what he wants to do there.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a garrison at those gates, and I think the rest will largely be on patrols, good-sized patrols, like given marching orders to sweep quadrants.
Would that fall under yours, or would that fall under Thrum's concern though for patrols in the city?
Which indeed,
Well, yeah, and
internal politics.
If you pull that jurisdiction crap,
all I'm saying is, since there's no threat abroad at this point, rather than having a chunk of what army we have sit idle, I think it would be good to help instill military discipline and, in general, give them tasks as they.
I have a lore question, Gombo.
Yeah.
In terms of like the dwarven armies and how they normally operated before like the fall or something, because this would probably be something Fergus would have asked. Is it merit based, like the better you do in the military, the higher you rank, or is it very family dynamic? Like, oh, well, this family inherited the title of such and such, so they deserve to be higher up in the military.
Highly depends. There's precedent amongst multiple dwarf holds for both ways. There is the professional army, which is like what we think of, where people enlist and then they are trained and housed and paid by the state government to be part of the army. That one is probably, I'm sure there is some nepotism, but on paper it's mostly merit based, so you can ensure it that way. Then there is I forgot what I called it, but the traditional feudalism quality, where you would get jarls out, which is what you're presumably going to be doing to get other clans in. And when time comes for them to go to war, you put out a call to all your lords to supply troops from their own reserves. So you would get a bunch of troops pre-trained, pre-equipped that you didn't have to house in the meantime. That would then come to your banner. It would just take some politics, so it's cheaper. And however they do their own rank, that's internal to them.
Gotcha.
but usually it's like the head of the clan, right? Someone they've appointed or their family is going to lead that group of soldiers.
Yeah, dwarves are a little bit more flexible about noble lines than humans. On paper, it's supposed to be a little bit more meritocracy than bloodlines, but nepotism does happen.
Yeah,
let's not be crazy. It does happen.
Yeah. Fergus would just want to make sure that the people who are in charge of our direct army are competent and not just put in there because it was expected of them to be there.
Well, currently it's Nulgrim and then 3 guys.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying, going forward, if it wasn't, I was gonna say we might want to address and be like, hey, if y'all do well, you're gonna move up. If that wasn't the norm, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but if it is the norm, that's fine.
Nulgrim, there's no sense in us trying to split what little forces we have. So if you can think of something to lead half of them to do, I'll take the rest of them to do something else we agree we should work on.
That works for me. I could, like I said, obviously have, I think, half of it garrisoning the walls, if that's enough. Or if
your action probably could be to garrison the walls, couldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And would that be my full action?
Because that would be a lot of organizing. You'd be also refurbishing it to make sure there's actually quality.
I mean, my action was 1 letter. I think it's pretty even for what we're doing.
Well, it's 1 letter and trying to get diplomatic relationships going, right?
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, no,
yours
I
is
get
one
it.
action to try to.
And
protect
I
our city.
forgot that it hasn't been like
Yeah.
fortified yet. So yeah, no, I would totally spend this action fortifying our defenses, gain everything set there, and basically having presences on our walls. So yeah, that'll be my
Yeah.
action for sure.
I think Gombo gave me these as notes from my position, but my number one concern right now is adventuring parties. People are starting to show up, so we definitely need to have a gate on that bridge so that they can't just walk over in the middle of the night and start, looting our areas.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay.
Are they
yeah, so
entering from the gate, or are they entering from elsewhere in the Underdark?
They are entering from the gate, and to vent the smog, you guys had to open the big vents on top of the mountain that you would use that normally hook into the forges. And some adventurers are getting in there. I don't know. Take your guys' head and think like player characters. How would you get into a dwarven city right now?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So we light the
probably what
fields
they're
on
doing.
fire.
Yeah, lots of burning crops across the map.
That's why my second note says chimneys are uncovered, releasing smog. And I was like, okay. I'm not worried about people dying from smog pollution at this point.
Listen, we live on the ground. Fuck the ozone layer.
Yeah.
Ventilation is important.
It's just gonna kill the elves faster. High five.
How many chimneys are there? Maybe we need to put up some kind of just a gate leading into that to each area.
There's about half a dozen. They're like big, wide things.
All right. While you secure the boundaries, I'll work on securing each of the chimneys in a way that we don't have to constantly monitor them.
Good.
Perhaps we could also work with some of these adventurers, set up a sanction system, and have them return artifacts for money, as opposed to looting them and selling them to other countries.
I like that.
God, why are you so fucking smart, Kenneth?
Wait,
Yeah,
so what's
that's a
other
good call.
countries?
Basically,
Oh God, our king!
I literally didn't hear. My headphones.
he basically said offer bounty for recovered stuff from the ruins, so that way the adventurers don't have a means to give it to us rather than just abscond with it entirely.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I like that idea.
I'm not sure how beneficial would it be, but would it be possible maybe to influence people wanting to rebuild? Telling people that the newer arrivals, if they can clear the area, they can set up their home front depending on where they build, or we can direct them to based on where they okay, you're a person who can work in the forge. If you clear up the area over here, you can settle down in that area if you prioritize that kind of thing.
I kind of feel like that's probably what's already happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Here's an idea on those smog towers. What if we just put a sign on the top of the chimney that says "Register at the bridge. We offer rewards for any loot you can find."
I mean, why not just put mesh on them so if they try to crawl down, they get stuck in the mesh?
I think it'd be better to bar those vents.
All right.
That way, we can still put the sign up. But I think we want to make it a point of this route is not for you.
Yeah. All right. I'll do that then.
Presumably they already have some anti-intrusion measures.
Yeah, there is some basic bars, but once again, out of character. Think about you guys as an adventuring party. You'd find a way.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be my action, is to secure with more bars and more security the tops of the chimneys, and put the signs there that basically say, "Hey, instead of breaking in, why don't you register at the front gate? We'll let you in and offer you rewards for anything you find."
Secure the vents.
Oh God, we are the border patrol now. We're just gonna wake up one day and there's gonna be just a ship next to that sign.
We're gonna need a bigger wall.
It's
That's
time
an
skip
analogy,
2 years. Thrum's gonna be pulling over wagons of Dorgar, asking them to get out of the car and what do they have in their possessions.
It is worth
Checking
highlighting
mirrors
that
underneath their wagons.
there
He's got
is
a crossbow.
there is no current established internal law enforcement. So if Thrum wants one of those, he's gonna have to establish it himself.
That'd probably be a
have
good
we
action
had
to do.
trouble yet to the point where we feel like we need it?
We
Nope.
probably need to get on that before someone murders someone.
Yeah. I think it'd be good to have because we have the military, but they're more focused on the wall, so we need somebody policing our people.
It's time to establish an American-style judicial system.
All right, I'm going to start training my group of Texas Rangers
There you go.
because this is my first recruit. His name is Texas.
This
No,
is my
it's
second.
Tex,
His
come
name is
on.
Citrus.
No,
Name
we
is
call him
Tex
Texas.
Ass.
All right. So what's Frey and Tasco plan on doing?
Well, my thought is I'm going to have to call a council of the 3 temples.
Is researching from that book in action, or is it just something I can do on the side?
It's something you can do on the side. You'll need 80 hours to attune to it. So you can read the whole thing to see what that entails. But that's something on the side. You don't have to do that as an action.
Okay. Then I guess we don't have any artificers here yet. So, and we don't have Junius here yet. I need to talk to Caliber, but as far as an action goes, I'm going to, I guess, look into the Black Iron and try to figure out what, if anything, we can do about that.
Also, as a reminder, because I talked to you about it before, there's also the remains of the factories that Bendrak had, if you wish to either employ them or tear them down. And there's also a large quantity of raw ore stockpile that Bendrak left that just hasn't been tallied to know how much you have left.
And,
All right.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Nolgrim will kind of look to you and say, I don't have as much need for this as you would kind of, set the Forge Friend helm on the table and say, feel like as you start delving into artifice, it might be good to have basically a encyclopedic knowledge at your beck and call.
So what are you offering?
Just if you want to use the Forge Friend helm.
And what does that do?
So it's the helm we found in the mine that basically has a perfect memory, remembers everything you have ever seen or heard, and can recall it perfectly when asked. Anybody wearing it has advantage on intelligence history checks about dwarven history, with an additional 1d4 added to result to the check.
Yeah, definitely, for sure then.
So
Yeah, I believe that's in Act 2 item handouts.
yeah, and I don't think it's not one that requires attunement. And if you do have the spell Find Familiar, it has additional benefits.
I do not have that spell, as I do not have a familiar, but
still usable.
Yeah. But that's what. Is it just an action to look into the Black Iron, or is there a more structural way I need to go about it? I don't really know.
No, we can just do a general, you're just trying to ascertain the nature of it, if there's still souls in there or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, I think it'll be. Yeah, I think that'll be good. So if we get anything from that, it also looks good on the artificers that come to see. Oh, we've already started. Good.
Yep. Mine, I've got a little bit of a back and forth I'll be wanting to do. Like I said, I wanted to get a conclave of the 3 temples together, and got a little bit of roleplay to do with that, but maybe a couple hours or maybe even a day before that to give them time to think, and meet up with the leadership of the Ancestors one and disclose to them the goings on. We agreed to not tell them that it was the former king that did it, but other than that, yeah. Because their input on going forward on that front is going to be important, at least to Taskell. I mean, I imagine they'll be quite shocked to discover the reason why the
Yes.
ancestors.
You're currently the Council of Three Temples is composed entirely of the high priests from your own clan, but they've already put in to be replaced by other clans for the sake of like unity of the dwarven people here. So for the first year, you're going to basically be unopposed politically. They'll just go along with it.
Mentioned that, but it's still kind of a thing.
All right. So since your thing has a role play, then I think we'll probably handle you last if other people wish to get down to some dice roly. Why don't we just start with Fergus then?
Yippee skippy.
All right. So you're sending diplomacy to Clan Emberbane, correct?
Yes.
All right. So that would be your dice. This would definitely be an influence.
So I roll my die plus an influence die?
Yeah, and then any other distinctions or assets which you think would be relevant, and we can have that discussion. I would say, since you're dwarves talking to other dwarves, I don't think your dwarven population would factor in.
Yeah.
Historic capital may. Inviting them to the prestigious historic capital that's just now being restored.
I would argue the same.
So that would be 1d8 plus 2d6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So it looks like picking the two highest.
Okay, you picked the two highest. I was about to ask about that.
You pick the two highest, so that's 5. There are some tests where it's like by how much you succeed, but this one is not going to be necessary to determine that because as they are active political meddlers, they only have a difficulty of 2d4. So they're collectively 5 and you're 10.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I had a feeling these were gonna probably the easiest ones to get to have in the city.
Very little effort. Your envoys are received quite politely. The responses are quite prompt. If you are amenable, they are willing to send a diplomatic contingent with the current clan head at the end of next season.
What's the name of this clan?
Clan Emberbane.
Probably tell them that it's an agreeable meetup time, and basically just show like however best you would write it into a letter to basically imply that we're very happy to see that they're willing to work with us. We're looking forward to seeing the clans reunite. Big flowery letter about all that stuff.
As you do. All right. Thrum, you were...
I would like to... I think we could probably put Ivy to help Thrum. Have our spy master also try to seek out ways in, ways out, seek out any potential adventure parties that may be around.
Yeah, are you dealing with internal security, or are you wanting to establish a law enforcement?
Honestly, I would vote to secure the chimneys first. I think Ivy and I can handle that, and then we'll worry about trying to figure out.
Or we could just have Ivy be the one to try to at least start securing while you focus on building up the police force.
She's a spy master, not like a...
Oh, not the actual spy itself. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I fear if she can't secure things, she could at least try to start locating some adventuring parties.
I feel like locating them is not the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with the chimneys first.
Okay.
But I'm gonna use her as like my security, if that makes sense. That way we can work together on that.
So are you modifying the chimneys, or are you trying to post additional guards? Because I'm just looking at what attribute you think would be the most relevant.
I don't want to use more manpower. I want to modify them so that they would be, a lot harder to get into, and then put a note on, or put a carving on top of it that says like, "Don't sneak in. Register at the front bridge, and we'll pay you for anything you find."
Mhm. All right, so if you're prioritizing the modification of the vents over the, I know, telling someone not to break into some places, like, guarantee that they will.
No, that's not. I'm laughing just because it's reminding me of like a sign on like a door. It's like wrong door. Go to the front.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me that you're prioritizing the modification of the chimney vents rather than setting up the administrative body for regulating adventures currently. So for now, I will call this probably more of an industry role.
Yeah.
Any sort of I don't want to keep telling you what to do. So any sort of like distinctions or assets you think would be relevant to this? Population enthusiasm is applicable to almost anything, but you only get 3 uses of it before that one goes.
No,
down.
I think just my die, Ivy's die, and the industry die. I don't want to hog the industry. Is there anything else that could apply to?
You guys can each use the attributes as many times as you want. You're not hogging it.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
Sounded like it was
definitely
named
industry,
Yeah.
Thrum, and Ivy. So 2d8 and a d6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounded like it was mainly our dice that's limited to once a season.
Yeah, that's just regulating the action economy on my part.
Wait, how should I do this roll? Just press the buttons. Okay, let's just do.
I just did the /R and then it'll show what each of the rolls are.
Yeah, I just did brackets and then did an individual die to make it just like that.
Well, that didn't work at all.
Yeah, you have to split the
so
brackets.
9.
9. Okay, so the adventure task is a 2d10 issue. All right. So it's on. You have modified the vents and you have that going on, but it has not been fully mitigating the problem yet in just 3 months of work.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how a lot of this dice rolling will work in the abstracted sense. Is it's not like you fail to modify it. It's just okay. This problem's still ongoing.
Yeah. They found other ways.
Exactly. You clog one hole and the rats will get in somehow.
Oh my god, they have so many portable holes. All right. Freya, you're wanting to research into the nature of the black iron and all that, right?
Yep.
All right. So that would be definitely your die, the D10. I would say this is definitely lore because it's a research project.
All right.
And then anything else you think would be relevant.
So I've got. What is my die?
A D10.
A D10. Plus 1d6. I can't think of any other things. So I think it'll just be those. 11.
All right. Researching this is a pretty hefty task, so it is a 2d12. Not impossible, but you'll still succeed.
Did we just get sonar pinged?
Sound like it.
Yeah, the Americans have found my submarine. So
Damn it.
shouldn't have had Sean Connery singing. What can I say?
This just made me think of it. I have to share. So I was reading this Korean manga that was like someone's reborn in another world. The typical isekai thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it started off, they're in a country, like a third world country, and they see an explosion happen in the distance. Like, oh, looks like the Americans are bringing freedom again. and then they get bombed and die
my-
and reappear in the new world after they get bombed by the Americans.
Oh my god.
I just thought that was the greatest start of an isekai I've seen in a while.
I forgot what anime it was from. What was another one where the Americans show up to help, and after they win, they're all like, "We did it, guys!" And all the American soldiers are just firing assault rifles and MP5s just straight into the air and swinging their guns around in enthusiasm, just flying bullets everywhere.
Oh Lord.
Um,
I think I know which one.
but yeah. The research into the Black Iron is ongoing, but unfortunately, you've had no meaningful breakthroughs within the first 3 months of research. All right, and then Milgram.
All right. Fortifying and reestablishing a presence on our walls. But I think instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I think what Nolgrim will be doing is probably hitting up our library or whatever archive we have of previously existing defensive structures, and kind of try to model it more off of the way things were before the fall, and update whatever may be updated for the past century or so that technology and advancement, all that stuff. But in general, try to model the garrison based off the way it had been done. So would it be possible to use both lore and historic capital with that approach?
Yeah, I think that's a fair read.
Right.
Here's a question for you: do you wish to have them be garrisoned at full strength or half strength? Because half strength, each gate will then add +3 to your budget, which will have to be reconciled at the end of the year. Full strength will be +6 per gate.
Definitely, I think half strength myself.
Yeah,
that's how I'm
I think at this point, half strength. We don't have an active threat against us.
All right.
So,
which of the two gates are you going to prioritize first? The surface gate or the Underdark gate?
I think Underdark.
All right. So,
sorry.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, this would be round table talking. Isn't the Underdark gate also connected to that sea that has things that just attack you that are invisible? Wouldn't the priority more be on the surface then?
No, the Underdark gate is hooked into a different area, not the ocean. You guys went through a secret side passage, which has since been collapsed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of attention at where everybody lives at the front gate, but I think we need to make sure our back door is locked before we start looking anywhere else.
All
Because
right.
that's where the biggest threat is.
Give me that roll.
All right. 6 and 4. So 10.
10. All right. This is not the hardest one. It is a 2d6 task. All right. So your budget will go up to 3. It was at 0.
All right. I'll get rid of that.
But now the lower gate is staffed at half strength. So let me create a little asset for you real quick. There you go. Undergate. It's another little asset for you. Never know when it'll be useful.
All right.
Cue to rename that to the butt flap of any long johns that you have. Just call it the Undergate.
And that just leaves
I thought that's what they called the area between the balls and the asshole. That's right. That's my Undergate.
So you said you wish to have a role play scene with a council of 3 temples?
Mm-hmm. Oh, but before I go into it, what's the Ancestors Temple's opinion on sharing the situation with the other 2?
Oh. Hold on 1 second.
So I would have brought them in at least on the Black Iron.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
plenty of scrap from the Dammer guards.
Mhm. In the abstraction, without going too deep into that role play there, they are very much disturbed by that news and the implications.
Mhm.
While they cannot speak for who their successor will be at the end of the year, they're going to support what you think would be best in the situation. Knife to their throat. They think it would be better to share that news with the current council than the next one.
Mhm.
The Temple of the Ancestors is currently the weakest of the three temples. With the Ancestors return, they're very eager to start trying to return to power, so to speak. Within Clan Hallforge, the current three high priests know each other and get along pretty well. So it's not high tension, but there's a possibility, depending on who the other temples send, that it might become more of a point of contention.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, there was no way we're going to keep this hidden. I didn't realize dwarves, for them, just dead people are just alive people, basically.
Well, it'd
Hey,
been
there's no one
couple
here.
100 years since
300
the
years,
ancestors
yeah.
had really been interacted with, but it was still a big part of the culture because
Part of their
dwarves and
judicial
tradition.
process. Yeah.
I need to take a bio, so I'll be right back.
Sure.
Yeah, gives me a little bit of more time to think about exactly how I want to word it because
Mm-hmm.
most of it's given a little speech.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that anime I'm guessing was Great Pretender, and I linked a little meme someone did of it to Party in the USA.
Yeah.
I can't wait until Taskell starts trying to get the youth involved with the churches and just start going into a place. Baseball cap turns it backwards in front of all the kids.
Hey,
Whackers
gang.
over a chair.
You know, Jesus was pretty lit.
My favorite quote from King of the Hill is, "You're not making rock and roll better. You're making Jesus worse." They're talking about like Christian rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was overall a pretty good episode.
Also, while on the topic, I love how there's an argument in Japan about whether to watch King of the Hill subbed or dubbed.
Yep.
It truly is American anime.
Yeah, for sure.
And the internet cut out for a second there. God damn it.
Though it does make me wonder what the Japanese voice sounds like for each character. And how they do like
I'm gonna do a
this.
quick YouTube.
Yeah, I especially want to see Boomhauer's voice actor in Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what comes up.
There's a full episode on YouTube.
Yeah, first result.
Oh god,
And third result is Japanese Boomhauer.
This is a full episode in Japanese. You can just skip around to hear some of it, but
All right, I have returned from expelling liquid from my body and grabbing more liquid to put into my body to expel later.
Just the way God intended. They were discussing Japanese King of the Hill.
Whether the dub or sub is better.
yeah.
Holy crap, he's teaching Bobby how to smoke.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true because I've only seen it in memes, but if the legend is to be believed, King of the Hill is very popular in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
My thing I deeply enjoy is that the people who are, the hardcore weebs. Now, like, I know we use that joke a lot for anyone who likes anime, but there's those people that I'm sure you've met them, that everything is related to Japan and everything is better if it's about Japan. Like that's, and it is funny.
Originally describing.
Yeah, and it's funny to see smoke come out of their ears when someone from Japan likes something from America. because it's like incompatible with their worldview somehow.
Man, did I ever tell you about the creepy guy I went to school with? He was like, before I even knew what weeb was, I could clearly tell there was something weird about him. He would carve, like, he'd get action figures of female characters and carve like the outfits off of them so they look like they were naked and shit, and then bring them to school. Keep in mind, this is high school. He's like almost a senior in high school, and he's sharing what they look like to other people in the classroom. I'm like, they're like, even before I knew what a weeb was, I'm like, there's something wrong. That boy ain't right.
So anyway, Kenneth, big dramatic speech,
Yes.
win hearts and minds.
Okay, so the answer to the temple was good with that. All right. Brothers, it is a great honor to see you all here in these ancient halls. Though degraded, they remain strong with the history of our people, and I'm sure we all seek to see them restored to their former glory. As we're all of, is it Hammerforge?
Hallforge.
Hallforge. So we're all of Clan Hallforge. We all know each other. And though I am of the Father Temple by training, the office demands that I speak for all of our 3 pillars. So I will start by making clear what each means to me. The Father is a Grandmaster, representing skill, the development of our techniques, and the passing of them on to our heirs. A guiding hand to develop our natural talents and shore up our weaknesses. Mother Fire is the passion, the drive to better ourselves and those around us, the devotion and care that makes our homes more than 4 cold stone walls. And the ancestors, tradition, the refined wisdom of the struggles of those who came before us, knowledge of the past that we can avoid repeating the same mistakes. Dammerhall is rising from the ashes, but for the foreseeable future, we will need to direct our attention and resources elsewhere. Therefore, I task each temple with the restoration of their own, and I will seek additional aid to help the one that is falling behind. But there is there's a additional complication. I have discussed it with the Ancestor Temple beforehand, and they have agreed that all of us should know. And I'd have signaled someone to bring in a box and take out of it several pieces of Dammerguard armor. What was going on in Dammerhall after the fall and before the reclamation was the harvesting the souls of our ancestors to create this, an artificial version of the Black Iron of legend. We know not if the spirits are still intact within it. And my daughter and the forges are working on processes to see if they can be restored. Just imagine there's a bit of a clamor.
Oh yeah.
Before continuing.
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
It's not too long. There's only 3 of them in the room, so you got that going for you at least.
All right. As such, I would welcome any of your inputs. And imagine most of them are technically my elders, even, because the one
Yeah, they
middle high ranked priest, but now I'm above them.
Well, it's something that they don't touch on D&D a lot, but I imagine a lot of these churches are padded out by priests that can't do divine magic.
Mm.
You know, I imagine there's some lay people like that, but so probably even a level 1 cleric would be above the bottom tier.
Well, let's back up there. Are you saying everyone that works in my church can't perform miracles?
I don't know. I've been praying to Jesus my entire life. I can shoot divine bolts of lightning.
Must be a skill issue.
I don't know. I saw one person start to like babble and say gibberish. Is that some kind of spell?
Just a very
Tongues.
shitty one.
Don't get me going on that.
I'm speaking in tongues.
I grew up in the same city as one of those mega churches, and I heard some wild stuff.
God, I hate mega churches.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Uh-oh.
a man just got up and said gibberish into a microphone because of God. I'm like, or he just said, never mind.
Or he's having a stroke. Shouldn't somebody help him?
Listen, the only babbling incoherently should be in a corn song.
All I'm saying is that if speaking in tongues is a thing, then that one fucking little uncivilized kid from the Wild Thornberries is the reincarnation of Christ.
So yeah, making it official that trying to
Yeah.
restore all three temples mostly simultaneously.
Okay.
I imagine that'll make it harder, but still.
Yeah, a good bit harder. Let me look at my notes here. Also, if you don't swear these people to secrecy, that news is getting out.
Yeah. Oath to secrecy might be, or at least, there's a release clause of eventually details may need to come out, and I haven't told about the king.
Yeah, that's staying under. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. Decent.
Normal character sheets are still gonna be in play.
Mhm.
While you did pre-clear it with the Temple of the Ancestors, even though that they are pretty amenable and understand, the two head priests of Father Mountain and Mother Fire are adamant that keeping such an important travesty away from the people would be against their ethics.
Told you we shouldn't have told him.
Well, I imagine there's quite a few lay people that are like, where did the ancestors go? Turns out they were turned into a milkshake that was turned into armor.
So I'll
I
just,
mean, were we plan on using this revelation as a motivator to get everybody on board? I thought it was intended to spread.
That is the question. But
That's
still,
what Holgrim was pushing for.
treating it seriously until like a formal announcement.
Mm.
I think
But
we're
the
not
rule-
like making a grand announcement to the people, but we're not exactly like lying to people if they're asking about what's
Right.
going on with it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying after this meeting, it'll slowly start trickling out. That's why
Yeah.
you only have a D4 of civic stress right now. But we can get to your restoring the temple rolls.
Mhm.
Trying to restore all four at once equally is going to make this a good deal harder than it was originally going to be. So,
Especially
Four?
since there's a fourth came out of nowhere.
right, sorry, 3 temples. I'm sorry, you didn't want to build a temple to the burning benches?
I was gonna say he was really sold on the fact that he was gonna try to convert you, and now he's just disappointed.
I know.
And now we're the Temple of Dave. We're just chill dudes
this is-
hanging out, man.
we
We're not
have
even
gathered-
wars.
We have gathered all the major branches of religion: Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and then just one guy, and Satanism. Just gonna casually try to slide in. But yeah,
It's the same theology, man. We're the same, two sides of the same coin.
you believe in everlasting life. I believe in Hot Topic. All right, so this would definitely be an industry roll in addition to your D10.
Okay.
Any other assets or distinctions that you think would be relevant here?
I kind of want to argue for historic capital to get some motivation, but I'm not 100%.
I would say probably dwarven population because this involves actual construction and they are good at
Yeah.
building things.
But
Yeah,
I think
there's
they'd
also
definitely
the,
be motivated to do so.
yeah,
That sort of
It's also,
church raising community.
Mm.
yeah, I was also going to make an argument for the enthusiasm since
Mhm.
it is a central thing, but if we're getting the population is another D8, I don't know. We
more
only
dice.
have 3 uses of that last one.
Yeah, so it's up to you guys out of character.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to a vote of the other 4.
Yeah, if you guys want to go for it, feel free. I'm fine with it.
Use them or lose them.
All right.
I found the enthusiasm is going to wear off after
Yeah.
I'm king for long enough.
Okay, so that is a D10 and 3D8, so.
Mhm.
And it's keep the 2 highest.
Yes.
That was another reason for maybe considering. But all right, here we go. Hey, syntax error. What did I miss? Yeah. There we go. 8
All
and
right.
5. So
How do y'all
13.
do that?
He just
You just-
separate brackets all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just do.
I was
I just do /R.
There's a couple
/R
syntaxes I was thinking of trying, but
Yeah, if you
double
put the
brackets.
brackets,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
put it
I
in
probably
the
could have done the
little-
brackets and just not added them.
and I believe if you put them in double brackets, it'll actually hide what you rolled.
Yeah, I
quad brackets.
Yeah, I posted in Skype like basically the set, double bracket, the dice number like 1d8, 2d8, etc.,
Yeah.
and then another double bracket, and then that's each die if you want to have them separated dice.
Yeah, sorry, it's double bracket, and then quadruple bracket will hide the actual dice roll you did, so that the players can't see.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is going to be a 2d10 difficulty, but because you're trying to repair all 3 temples simultaneously, I'm going to say your population stress is factoring into this due to the lack of manpower. So I'll roll
So third
3d10.
D10.
So that looks like a maximum of 10.
So I think he succeeds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 12 versus 13, right?
All right. Let's see. So, all right. So this is a good thing to a good thing. How we explain extended tests here is sometimes something might not be done in a single season. So other than the 2 dice that you roll, you can technically select a lower dice other than the 2 highest that you roll. And then you could select another die that is how effective your success was based upon the size of the die, not its roll. So, for example, you have a D8.
Mhm.
So, because you used a D10 and a D8, so then you have those D8s. So, the difficulty here was a D10. So, it's so difficult to explain. It's like you would reduce it in a number of sizes in the die chain. So, a D10 would go down 2 steps to a D6. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what are you rolling
Yeah,
for
even
his
with the
difficulty? A
internet cutting
D10,
out
so
the
he could
middle.
use a D8 to lower it to a next time to a D8?
Next time to a D6, because it's like if you think of the dice as a chain, it goes D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. So it's at a D10. So down 2 steps, that would be
So the difficulty next time would be 2d6 versus
2d6 versus 2d10. And then
That's
once
awesome.
you beat it on 2d4, then it's done. And even if you only roll 2 dice but you still succeed, it's always a default of a D4 success level, so it would always just go down by 1 step. So that's how we handle stuff that happens over time.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. It's a nice start to it.
Yeah, you actually surprisingly did very well, though the rumor has gotten out, hence the civic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth, we need to go play craps, man. I don't know how, but You just
We
roll.
need to- we
That's
need to
whenever
go
I hear
play-
people talk about like old ladies playing bridge. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
We need to go play craps first. Could you teach me how to play craps?
Yes, I'm gonna have to read a book on the way there.
No,
Can you
in the
imagine-
future it's gonna be decrepit old fucking geezers playing Warhammer 40,000 Gladius.
I really want
Oh,
you to go up to,
casinos
like,
have some hard changes coming.
a Las Vegas casinos tables where they play craps and go, all right, looks at the dealers, can you teach me how to play this game?
The one craps table in the back because the Magic the Gathering tables are in the front.
If they actually did Magic the Gathering at casinos, I would actually go.
Yeah.
Like just
God,
straight up.
y'all, did we just hit a gold mine?
It was
That's a
originally
great
designed
idea.
to be betted on, to be fair.
We create,
Unfortunately, I think casinos are illegal in Texas. So
I know, but we go to a state where casinos are legal and we create the first tabletop gambling casino.
You see, the thing that
That's
you
a
have to
great
make it
idea.
fair is that you'd have to let people select decks, but you only have a number of pre-made ones. You don't let people bring in their own outside bullshit.
No, they don't bring in their own. Our randomized shuffler is going to give them whatever. If they've got the skills to win in Vegas, they need a randomized shuffled deck.
Either that, or we could have separate tables for each. You know,
Yeah. Like if you want to play this theme deck, that table's over there.
Yeah.
It's a $5 ante. This theme deck, that's a $50 ante. It's over there.
this is a genius idea.
now do we go with like a traditional casino? Oh fuck, we're recording this.
Don't publish. Don't publish.
Copyright, trademark,
Uh,
call it
Trademark. I
Trademark,
declare
don't steal.
trademark
Patent
seed.
patent
Wha-
pending.
Whatever that stupid fucking thing that everyone kept posting on Facebook because they thought it protected their posts.
in Minecraft.
Oh, hashtag. I hashtagged our discussion.
Can I just
Anyway.
cut this section?
Back
Cut
to
this
the
section.
game because Cope has begun shouting hashtag at his computer.
I love how
Did you
Cope is-
watch The Office.
He's the old man of the group to a T.
he's like of the oldest of us. He's like what, 5 years?
Yeah, I know, but he acts older than the rest of us combined. I think most of the time.
I think it's mainly just a joke that
I
he's
was
doing.
born. I was born old, and I like to lay into the joke.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that's the first season gone by. Now you guys kind of got the feel of it. We're rolling into season 2. So at the end of this season, the delegation from Clan Emberbane will be arriving, but you get to resolve your actions first.
Gotcha. I will pose the question to the group. Do we want to try to get in on communicating with Corsiconia first, or do we want to try to get in their clan on our side before that?
We need more soldiers. I mean, clan members.
Yeah,
I
Corsiconia and his elves are basically our direct neighbors, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
I think these early days is good to earn favor with the clans. That will pay off later.
Yeah. Do we want to have more help? We think we might help with the current situation with the the golems and stuff, or do we want to try to get some more help to like bolster our strengths?
I
'Cause-
think.
My next choice was gonna go try to request the audience of the paladins, the clan Helmengard, but they're a little slow to make decisions, so it might just we get them in the foot because it's going to take a while for them to respond to us. Is like his thinking.
I think
Brum
that's
would
good.
slam his hand down and say, "Good thinking, good thinking, King."
I intend on this next stretch building out a official barracks and just military campus. So I think it'll be good to have that done and get them here
Okay.
Yeah. with place to go.
So yeah, I'll reach out to Clan Helmengard, wishing to have them join us for an audience. More of the same of talking about strengthening the bonds, yada yada. In particular, he would point out the fact that they are a power of the dwarves that is sorely needed. Kind of hinting at things to possibly come, and then talk about how their aid could help with just resolving any kind of. I'm trying to think of how I word it.
I was going to add out of character. We're
can
raising
save-
three. We're raising 3 temples. We need them here to help dedicate, and we've still got an undead problem.
Yeah. Well, there's also the undead hunter too. Undead hunters that we could talk to the clan Grimpire, but I figured the paladins might be a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like paladins would be easier to deal
I
with.
think
than...
let's go with paladins
Well-
because I think they'll be a good way to start building up a military.
On that front, have there been any mysterious disappearances of people? Because I mean, I raise it as a possibility that there's ones that escaped the purge, but I don't know if we have actual confirmation.
Nothing that has been directly supported to directly like. If it's a big problem, like the adventurers is a big obvious thing. That's why they was getting
The adventurers will take care of them.
Yeah. That's like
Yeah.
releasing cats to kill your rats.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, that sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
If you would want someone to do more of an in-depth investigation to see if there's any pockets of holdout, that could be an action.
'Cause, like, I
And-
brought it up as a possibility because those.
That could be a good action for the
Yeah.
police to
Yeah.
investigate once you actually form a police guard.
No, yeah. Nolgrim will look to Threm and say we could put out a reward for all. You know, I've known of some places to pay out for like knoll ears. Well, we could probably do something similar with. You know,
I don't think that's going to work with undead. Hey, I found the skull. It was totally attached.
but we know the sort of undead that will be down there, and that's kind of also. Did the undead have a sort of
Dwarven undead?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That doesn't sound
Fergus
great.
makes a good point.
fair.
We could offer
Fair.
them that, like, if whatever they tell us about, if they've seen signs, if it proves to be credible, we could reward them for that.
Enlist today with the Narc Watch.
Well, specifically about anything that could be considered
Yeah.
harmful to dwarves, but yeah, like in terms of creatures and stuff. We may not say just, hey, watch out for undead, but
Mm.
hey, there are things that could be around from before we reclaim that could be causing problems. If you see it, let us know and we can deal with it. And if your information was credible, you can be rewarded for such.
That works.
But yeah, contacting the paladins, the Helmengard clan, asking them for a meetup. Can't really think of how I was trying to word what I was trying to word, but yeah.
It would probably take some time before they get here, before anything meaningful happens anyway. So you
Yeah.
can pull that over. Though something, once again, I'll have the NPC Thymus speak up about this. A lot of times, if you want a clan to be operating within your hold, it is traditional to award them a jarldom, which is like a section of the territory that they rule over, classic feudal lord style.
Mhm.
So you might want to be thinking about where you would be willing to allow these people to have control over.
Mhm.
Currently, you have the 4 levels of Dammerhall, and technically, though it's entirely unsettled as far as you know, the tops of the mountains on the surface side.
Yeah.
And then you can technically start awarding unclaimed territory outside in the Underdark and such. It's just, claiming that will be the next issue.
Yeah. Again, one of my goals is to get the Forgeworn clan to award them the territory of the Undersea. And you can have it, you gotta fight for it though.
That feels like awarding those explorers all the lands that the Mississippi River touched, and then they look at a map and they're like, "Holy shit!"
yeah.
Well, thanks for the continent, I guess.
But yeah, after these 2 main groups, I think I'm gonna start trying to work on some trade stuff before I start contacting more of the clans.
Okay.
Just kind of, I want to split the difference. I don't want to have to go all in on the dwarves and stuff. So
While everyone else is thinking, do you just want to get that roll out of the way?
yeah. So would there be influence and my role?
Yep, and probably historic capital. That's what you did last time. As I said, feel free to look over any other stuff. You can give me some pitches. It's an open discussion.
Yeah, I think for now this seems about right. So I'll go ahead and toss them in.
Mhm.
IC rolls equal to 10.
All right. Since they're kind of slow to come to deliberation, they are 2d10.
Yeah.
16.
Woof.
So it's not that they're not responsive. It's that it's taking a really lot of humming and hawing because that's who they are.
It follows.
Yeah.
Just get a letter like a month later while we're at a meeting. I just kind of put it down. It's gonna be a minute.
Well, at least we got that ball rolling.
All right. Anyone else?
Like I said, Nolgrim is going to focus on clearing out and dedicating an area for our military campus, our military
Right.
academy.
Like an actual, so not like a housing area, like an actual place that specializes in the training and the maintaining of troops.
Yeah, and if a barracks could be part of that too, I'd like it
Right,
all to
yeah.
be like one complex. Yeah.
Right. I'm just hearing you out to determine, like, if you succeed, what's the asset size going to be? Is there going to be upkeep? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So at this point, it will be like a housing, training grounds, armory, and then just I said barracks, right?
Yes, a couple times.
And okay, and then I think then have room for future expansion. There'll be like almost like an officer academy sort of thing.
So are you focusing more on the physical facilities right now, or the educational facility for training people?
Physical. Yep.
Okay, so then this would be more of an industry thing than a might.
Yep.
My mind wanders up the dwarf fortress at that, and one of the tricks is to set up a room with a bunch of spear traps, and then hook them all up to a lever, put the military in the spear trap room, and have someone just go hog wild on the lever, so they're constantly having to dodge and fend off the spears.
Well, that's in
Welcome
there now.
to the danger room.
Yes.
Taskil, do you plan on using the masses to help you continue with your temple building, or would I be able to use them? See if I could.
The population, the distinctions and assets can be used multiple times, so long as it makes sense within role play.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about stealing from each other.
Okay. So yeah, Nolgrim will see if he could, generate, again, the population's support to, kind of get ready to basically get that military. We'll defend our home now that it's ours. No one's going to take it away from us ever again.
Yeah, you're
on that front. I was thinking of not using the enthusiasm this time, so I don't know if someone else wants to use one of the three or one of the two now.
I
think I'll be good with myself, with the industry, and with the dwarf population, if that works.
Yep.
Right. 12.
One for a 2d8. 9. All right. So last one is a d8. All right, that takes it down. Yeah, okay, so that does manage to complete the long-term task in a single season.
Okay. Nice. And if possible, I would have tried to locate that on the same floor as the bridge. That's the second floor. Yeah.
Should we start like a text box to track what we've accomplished?
I think he made us a document for.
Yeah, I've been jotting down my stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna edit it real quick. So.
What do you want to call this? Do you just want it called military campus, or do you want to call it something special?
Let me think on a name. I will want to call it something special.
Okay.
Let me know when you're done in the Kingdom Notes if anyone's working on it, and I'll put in my stuff.
I'm done.
Do we make a box on the map here? That way,
there's a handout for Kingdom Notes. So.
Okay.
All right, so it's currently called TBD military bunkhouse until you can come up with a better name for it.
Yep.
And some assets can be improved if you guys choose to use the action into doing it. But it's going to start as a D6. And I will say that's going to add 2 to your budget to maintain that facility up and running.
Okay. But whoever has it open, if you don't mind adding 2 to the budget.
I can add it. Fucking Loki just blowing our budget like it's going out of style.
Yeah, that military spending, baby.
Probably
Come on, military industrial
you need to get
complex.
some passive income going here pretty soon. Just saying.
I'll start raiding. Just give me the word.
He's just leaning
what
back
territories
in his
are
chair,
taking over?
smoking a cigar. So when are we gonna get them drones?
Which place are we going to deliver freedom to next?
I'm pretty sure we already have drones.
That's true.
Giant walking mechs. America's
right.
dream has come true.
All right, so we still have Taskell, Throwman, Freya. What you want to do?
Do we want to just go down the list of officers next time in order?
Sure, I was just going with if anyone had an idea versus what you're thinking about. It's whatever you guys would prefer.
Well, presumably now it's been well over 80 hours.
Yeah, but it's been well over 80 hours, absolutely.
Which means I would be able to start researching from that book.
Oh, yes, you'll need to give me a saving throw. Let me check.
Gotta love that our
we're
master
doing our
builder
own
is slowly
thing.
getting corrupted.
we take a look over at Freya, a year from now. Freya.
Yeah,
don't worry, she's going through a goth phase right now.
That will be a charisma saving throw. Whenever you're ready, Michael.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. You succeeded.
Nice. I'm going to be looking into banishment rituals.
Banishment rituals. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's absolutely something that's in there. What are you looking to get rid of?
Maybe a large dragon that might arrive at some point.
Okay. What outer plane do you want? Maybe what are you looking at? Like hell?
The water plane.
That would be funny, but I think he'd just die. And then what's the point of banishing him?
I mean, exactly that.
That way he's not just going somewhere all the more pissed off at us.
It's a red dragon, right?
Yeah, he's a red dragon.
Why not the plane of fire?
Oh yes, let's make him stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wouldn't he be the king there?
I feel like I've seen the scenario play out before in one campaign or
Most
another.
other stuff there would be, if not immune, highly resistant to fire. But,
He was swimming
I
in
would
lava,
also-
so
I would also nominate the plane of air, since there's not much flammable stuff there.
you're not involved in this conversation.
I know that's out of character.
Oh, you're the last person just telling about this.
I'm just floating ideas.
But yeah, come to
big
think of it, the plane of air is also a good idea.
Okay. Let me
But
quickly
either way, fire, air, one of those.
pop open good old Maladrax's character.
Or if
Let's
you
really
wanna be
start a
really-
war and send him to the Fey realm.
you wanna be,
I'm sure nothing would go wrong there.
Really,
If we send him to the Fey realm, there's probably something that can send him back.
Exactly. And probably with help. Because then we piss off the Fey realm too.
Yeah. My other campaign,
Well-
they just met the Queen of Air and Darkness. And those of you who read the Dresden Files, you know how that
Yeah.
goes.
Mm-hmm.
on that point, most of the outer planes have an entity that can send stuff to other planes. I was also thinking, if you want to be really spiteful, the subplane of mud, the intersection of earth and water.
Oh yes, do that.
I mean, this is all out of character, so
Yeah.
whatever you want to do there, Michael.
I don't know if those subplanes actually made it into 5th edition cosmology. They were kind of fun.
I don't give a shit. I think it's
I
fun.
did like Kenneth's idea of the plane of air,
Okay.
where he can't wreak havoc any longer.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, you do find a ritual for that. You know what? How about we do this to determine some stuff? Why don't you give me a Arcana check at advantage?
All right. Arcana at advantage.
And yeah, I know it doesn't matter. It's a homebrew world, so.
Oh yeah. All right. So you got two sort of ways you can do this. If you want to banish him by like luring him into a trap circle, that's something you can do. That will require 28 innocent sacrifices at the time of the spell being cast. They have to be killed in some way pertaining to air. If you want to do it at a distance, you will need a substantial sample of Maladrax's body as a grounding for the spell. He will get a saving throw against the banishment. You'll probably need to make like an anchor or something, like a ritual totem that will maintain the banishment. And the number of innocent sacrifices will be multiplied times 20.
Okay, just asking for sacrifices straight up. This book is useless to me.
I mean, you can look in deeper, but it's only going to get worse than there.
What do you mean the evil book is evil?
Pshaw, I say.
Why would this require souls? She thinks among the ruins of soul-imbued armored entities.
I'm just saying, maybe you get eased into the evil, but no, they want 20 whatever innocent sacrifices.
Man,
They can't even be bad. They can't even
you're
be
wanting
bad
to-
people. I
you're
can't
wanting
even
to
round up a bunch
banish
of like
an
death
ancient
row
red-
criminals and sacrifice them and have it be a little morally ambiguous.
Listen,
It has to be
wait until
innocent people.
until cultists discover microbiology and they start sacrificing those.
I mean,
Listen,
we'll say it started off there, but we were talking about throwing someone out of a dimension against their will.
An ancient red dragon, nonetheless. If you're like, I want my crops to be high yield, then we're in basic bloodletting territory. Like,
Maybe a chicken or 3.
yeah, exactly. You had the option.
Swinging for the fences here.
Like, at range, say, I nope you out of reality and keep you there.
Is there a definition
Scale.
as to what an innocent sacrifice is?
On a
Nope,
scale
trial
of
and error.
electrified weapon or welcome Matt to Claymore Roomba. We're definitely up near Claymore Roomba.
I like how we're not even 6 months in and Freya's on the verge of, do I form a cult?
Well, I mean, she had one and lost it. Now she's just feeling a little jealous.
Right? She's like, man, that could have been a good idea.
And that wasn't even Freya's kingdom action.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't do much with 25 innocent sacrifices.
I mean, we could always have a field trip from the Drow Kingdom. I'm sure their children technically qualify as innocent.
Man, everyone is super on board with turning into the villain.
Are you sure, though?
You just freaking Taskell walks into the council room one day. So I woke up this morning, guys. I'm like, fuck it. Let's use the Dark Iron Army. Fuck the rest of them. Let's conquer the world.
Yeah.
Bendrack was on the right track.
Yeah, we go break Pendrek out. Hey, yeah, we thought it over. You're right.
I guess this entire
You want to
thing was a
watch?
big, our entire thing was a big whoopsies on our part.
I mean, that's pretty much what he's
6
betting
months
on
into
at this-
power, we're like, yeah, we're fuck it, we're corrupt. Let's do this.
Look,
Pretty
I
much
haven't gone wrong yet.
Yeah, things haven't even gotten tricky yet. We're like, eh.
I
Why
love
not?
this idea of this, like, you just get elected president, you walk in the Oval Office, you're like, and here's your desk, and you're like, nuke them all, kill them all, turn it to ash.
I like to put out there that all I've done is looked at the book.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, we're just having fun, laugh on how we enjoyed the game.
And determine that fucking 25 innocent sacrifices. Jesus Christ.
28.
I hate shit that's
28.
overpriced.
For real.
Yeah, I just looked at the number of its hit dice, is what I did. That many people.
How many adventures do you say are currently in the kingdom?
Definitely more than 28. I'll tell you that. Definitely more than 28.
Hey, just a few fireballs and we could take care of this.
Yeah, as you were talking about the president, that gumball clip came to mind.
God, I love that show.
I mean, the adventurers. You probably shouldn't have said that, Loki, because now I'm thinking about it. I mean, I'm just saying, from Freya's worldview, they're coming into a historical site and plundering the historical artifacts with no, thought for the people. If there's anyone to be an innocent sacrifice.
And I mean, adventures disappear all the time.
I'm just trying to determine how easy right now it would be to order the Black Iron Army to get them alive, because there's no way I'm running this past any other person.
That sounds like just a something your character can do.
Yeah. You still have, presumably they left the crown with you to study, but you could totally start ordering the death robots to do what you want, Doctor.
Just Loki, because nobody's paying attention down there. She's just a mad scientist already going for it.
Fuck yeah. I mean, that
You've
would
got
solve
a
big
robot
problem.
army, a magic book, and the resources of a nation. Like,
We basically have grave robbers in our home stealing what our ancestors worked hard to create. And you have the means to stop them.
Here, sell your soul real quick, Freya. Make this pact with.
Are
Totally
you
has
gonna
it.
dip, Warlock?
You know who I might talk to about this?
Yeah.
I might talk to Thrum.
sure.
Yes, the pinnacle of advice.
Whatever scene you guys want to do. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just refereeing
do
at
it.
this point. Yeah.
Yeah, so at some point, Freya, I guess, to pull Thrum in and say that she needs to talk about something having to do with, because you're the hold warden, so you're like the internal
yeah, it's
military.
security. Yeah.
Yeah.
And police.
Okay. And then I would basically introduce the book that I've gotten here to you. It is called The Book of Vile Darkness. And I'm wanting to talk to you about this because I don't necessarily trust my own intuition when it comes to this kind of thing.
I can tell you this: I'm not reading it.
No, you don't need to read it, but there's quite a lot in the book that could help us with predicaments going on later, depending on what route we want to go.
Okay.
Particularly, I was thinking about getting rid of Maladraxus through some sort of banishing circle, but it seems the only way to do such a thing is through actual sacrifices.
What would you have to give up in your sacrifice?
Well, the wording's kind of vague.
Wait. If you're going to ask me after a year and a half of walking through the Underdark to stop drinking now that we're here, you can count me out.
My immediate thought was he's not reading it, not because it's the Book of Vile Darkness, but because it's a book.
Yeah, exactly.
So just complete transparency here, Thrum. The book says it requires innocent sacrifices. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's real bad. I mean, unless you can convince Fergus that we could use some drow or elves, then I don't know how you get there. We could do a raiding party to capture some.
And thinking about it, this whole thing is kind of reduce harm anyways by sending Malvadraxus away. And I don't feel like the wording is just, it's vague. What if who we gather isn't innocent enough?
To me, whenever something like that, an ancient text that when they use the word innocent, that just means that it's you basically got them bound and gagged, and they're not fighting you. You're taking their life, as they say, in cold blood. It's probably meaning some kind of humanoid sentient. Not a porka. You can't use a big old mindless porka for this. You're gonna have to get a humanoid. But if we have prisoners that we maybe deem are worth the death sentence, maybe you grab two birds and
I think
kill them
that's-
with one stone.
I suspect the innocent wording here is
They're not guilty of a crime.
precludes you from using people like death row inmates.
Nah.
Depends on what you make the laws, to be fair.
Mm.
I mean, if refusing to say good morning is a death row offense, then it's probably good.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Kill anyone who doesn't eat tacos on Taco Tuesday. Wait, what? Fred, you wouldn't have brought me in here if you hadn't thought through this 6 ways from Sunday. What are you thinking? What's even making you question it?
Well, the only thing that I could really think of that we could use to power a spell like this are, well, I know there are a lot of people who don't respect Dammerhall's culture as much and will ignore the warning signs that we put up not to loot and plunder.
Ah, the damn grave robbers. We should capture them and use them. We'll sacrifice them.
This is like literally could be a plot of a Pathfinder adventure.
Yeah, like I feel like we should do a spin-off series where we're the adventurers.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going. This is fantastic.
Out of character task was just sitting there with that concern pose.
Wait, is he in the room too?
No,
No,
he's saying
no,
out of
that's why I said
character.
out of character.
Somewhere in the other room, he's concerned. That makes perfect sense.
Well, I
Does
don't
your,
have sympathy. It's still hard for me to justify personally killing them.
does it say who has to sacrifice them?
Question for Gombo.
It doesn't explicitly say who. It's just one of those things where it has to be done when you cast the ritual with the dragon.
I'll slit their bloody throats.
Yeah,
I wrote
yeah,
them
you
a
could.
very nice message, and they keep coming in.
And do they all have to be killed at the same time?
Once again, it's like the dragon steps into the circle. If you were doing the ranged version, which was a much higher number of people, you could potentially try to research something that could perhaps store it up over time, but then that would be its own separate thing that you do beforehand.
Oh crap! Are we getting into soul stones again?
Can we put up signs that say
Wait.
like penalty for looting is death? I don't know.
Did you hear that? Was that a moon dog? I'm out. Fred, something
Michael
to
just
think
left.
about.
Yeah, Michael got dropped from the call.
Before I go after those adventurers, look at this list. He holds up a piece of paper real quick. It's kind of crumbled, puts it away. It's I gotta put together some kind of security force. Still gotta clean the chimneys. Still gotta fix the signs. We've got then we can get to these adventurers and to figure out what we're gonna do with them then. But I think sacrificing them in order to get rid of a red dragon is a great idea.
We should tell that to Michael when he joins the call again.
Thrum turns around and she's already left the room.
Damn it. Talking to myself again.
Well, while we're waiting for Michael to come back, I think I picked out the name, the
Oh yeah, sure.
Hearthstone Military Academy.
All right.
Feel that sense of home and
Yeah.
also
They play cards all day long.
Firestone.
Yeah,
Look, any of your dropouts, I want to join. I want them to join my Coast Guard.
Okay.
I'm just gonna call it Hearthstone AC.
Okay.
So that way the nameplate isn't super fucking massive.
Yeah.
But MC, not AC. Sorry. And I know
Oh, man.
words. I
Yeah.
speak languages
Yeah,
that
yeah.
exist
You got-
in
you got-
reality.
You got the letter number stuff, right? Got it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Hearthstone MA.
I'm gonna just go ahead and roll because I'm continuing the project.
Continuing.
15. I said it was 2d6. I think
Give it
that's
a 2d6, still with a population d10. Highest is 13. And it's a d8, so
okay. Looks like it was his internet that completely died. Just
Mhm.
Skype for whatever reason. Ultimately, he's not going to go down the road of sacrificing adventures yet. He's going to use the round to do more research on the Black Iron, he says. Wonder what the hell happened with his Skype. So yeah, it's another 2 points off of it, and it's that.
yeah, I'll get it done.
Woo!
A moment.
Especially now that so I kind of see obviously you've established the ancestors as judicial. I kind of see the mother temple more as like charity services and healthcare, and the father's temple is being craftsmanship as well, training. But figure once temples are restored, they can start helping out with other projects.
Mm-hmm. You getting high rolls? Just setting up these. Yes, here. Just from 0 to 100 on becoming the villain hench person.
That was just good fun RP. I knew it wouldn't go that way, so
I feel like I'm gonna have to listen in back on this episode because this has been a lot of fun.
All right.
We're about 220 in at this point. If you want a timestamp for later.
3 little assets there for you. How you improve them going into the future will have to be individually. That can have its own political pushbacks, but you got some temples.
Thank God we don't have the water temple. That thing's a bitch to navigate.
I like the water temple.
I
we
know, I
want
do
that
too.
on our side, don't we? That'd be a D8 easy.
I joke, but I actually
Also be a
never
D8
minded water
stressor.
temples.
Yeah.
Yeah. The OT one was honestly more tedious than terrible. It was having to go to specific spots to reset the water level.
Mhm.
And if you didn't know about the one key under the block, would get stuck for a while.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's mostly a meme that it's everyone's nightmare.
So what did you want to do with your action there, Cope? Because it doesn't look like Operation Adventure Kidnapping is going into play this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and form the safety
Bench
security
mod.
team.
Oh, yeah, safety security.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mob squad.
The Doom
So
Squad.
I guess that'd be Thrum. I don't really know what attribute would.
Um,
I would ask Ivy to help. She is probably, weaving her way through the new current population and hearing a lot of rumors. And like, which individuals have you seen stand up for those who need standing up for? Which ones seem to be, I hate to use this word, but I'm lacking right now, more noble than the others in being honest.
okay, so it sounds like you're more trying to acquire people based upon their sense of civic duties. That would probably be more influence. Commerce would be paying them.
Yeah,
Might would be like, hey, you want to fucking break some legs?
I think influence is right. I think right now we don't want police officers. What we want are community leaders who can help weed out disputes and settle them.
Right. Okay.
And you're going to want, yeah. So influence. Would distinction population, since I'm actually going through the population here?
I feel like the point of the dwarven population distinction, as I think, is what is unique to dwarves that like a population of elves or humans would do. I would definitely say like
we'd also be poking around the Hearthstone Military Academy to see any who maybe it's not exactly what they want.
So you wanna poach from them is what I'm hearing.
No, at this point I don't want to get their dropouts because they're just starting. I feel like they're probably not kicking anyone out, but eventually.
No, I mean, if you want to poach for them, you recruit the most desirable people so that way they join you instead of the academy.
But that's going to hurt the military eventually.
I'm fully willing to give you a bonus if you willfully undercut the military.
No, I appreciate that from the DM. I love it. But no,
just how evil is Cope going now? Just how
that's
rogue.
the type of bureaucratic dick measuring contest that I am fully willing to mechanically.
I love it. No.
6 months in, and there's already.
Hey, give us a year. Can I use Ivy?
Yeah, you could use Ivy. You could use Enthusiasm if you wanted to. But before you roll anything, I just have a question for you. How strong are you looking to make it? Because this will determine how difficult this test is, as well as how much budget it takes. At its weakest, it'll just have a +1 increase to budget, and that will be a D4 asset. +2 increase will be a D6 asset. +3 will be a D8 asset.
Well, let's go with the lowest level at this point.
Okay, just the lowest one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just a +1 to budget, a 1d4 asset. That way, in my future actions, I can use that 1d4 as a bonus roll.
All right, so go ahead and give that a roll.
Y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oof, a 9.
All right, so this is going to be a 2d4 test. However, because of the current ongoing rumor mongering, we will be adding the civic stress into this.
Ooh.
We
We tied. Oh, an
No,
8.
You got
an
a
8.
9.
Yes.
Yeah, he got an 8. Gotcha.
Yeah, but didn't you get a 9?
Yeah, he
I
got a
did.
9,
Yeah.
so he did
Yeah.
succeed. It wouldn't
I
have been
just saw the
successful.
9 at the bottom and thought, oh shit.
It wouldn't have been successful if it wasn't the lowest strength that he
Yeah.
could muster there.
Yeah.
Any particular name you want to give this organization, or do you just want it to be the Guard?
I like Safety Security Force. Not even force, just safety and security.
Oh God. He's creating the SS.
Test roll, see syntax on this.
There you go.
Yes.
Man, this has been a turn for Throw. Man, the character development. I mean, you should have asked a question at the end of the session. Shit.
So go ahead and increase the budget by 1 for maintaining this new security force, safety and security.
Who's gonna do that? Where's our? I haven't even looked at our budget sheet.
I'll add 1 to it.
Okay.
You'd think we shorten it to SS. We don't.
Is it under Kingdom Notes?
Yeah, it's on the very top. I already
Oh
changed
God, we're up.
it. All that military spending. This kingdom needs to get some passive income
Mhm.
fast.
I will also say, just as
Look,
a note, since,
King, I want to run this by you, Fergus. I think that my SS squad could take over all of the walls and patrol, and we don't need to really worry with the military.
Yeah, you go ahead and talk that out with Milgram.
I will also say, just for the sake of an out of character record here, because the whole how budget reconciliation works is something that I added to this system. I've reserved the right that if it's broken as hell to make modifications to it as we go, and I will inform you as that. It looks like it's still going just fine. I'm just letting you guys know up front, whenever a DM's trying a new experimental rule.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I have a horrible joke I can make, but not doing all the recordings on.
Wow, it has to be really bad if you won't do it on the recording zone.
Yeah, you mean it's something to do with Thrum founding a group of internal police called the SS that's going to round up adventurers for mass death?
Oh my God, I didn't connect all that.
Sometimes I can't tell if you're trolling us, Cope, or not.
Oh, fuck it. I was going to say he was going to start hunting down drow because they're bluish.
Oh no.
Oh no. Wait, you're
Oh.
telling me you've got bluish wizards?
Oh no!
Demonetized.
Woo!
Gotta listen to this episode quick because it may get pulled down quick.
That would require the automated people to watch us.
Oh,
Fair.
God!
Oh no, we're
I
in
put you guys in
Thrum's.
charge of a kingdom, and this is already.
To be fair, if the auto mods are scanning 3 hours, 4 hours into the video, however long we are, that's pretty
Don't
good.
say
to hear.
exactly that. Actually, Kenneth time stamped us like 10 minutes ago, so that's going to be easy for him.
Yeah, anyways, Thrum is having his Kanye arc.
I mean, to be
Goodness.
fair, Freya pushed him down this path, and he's just like, I'm going.
I lightly prodded, and he was like, "You're a genius." My eyes are open.
That's an option?
Look,
Look,
we'll
he
know,
just
we'll know
wants
if
to
he
get
shows
rid-
up to the next meeting in a morph mask.
You think I denied his ass from art school? Jesus Christ!
Wait, whose name did you say?
We really need to get Thrum an ex-wife to put him under control. I'm starting to think that they're the good exes, and he's the evil one at this point.
It's like a cursed item that
You're
controls it.
starting to think that.
Well, starting to really think it.
Hey, This new noble lady, Eva Braun,
Oh,
up
God.
to be up to be your next wife.
And his job before the adventure was hunting down vermin in tunnels. So.
Oh, God! I feel like we need to
Okay,
just
enough of these
everyone
jokes.
reboot
Yes,
your
yes.
computers.
999. Enough of these jokes.
Mhm.
So, side thing before we get some more going.
Mhm.
A thought occurs if there would be like ruins for forges that protect from heat, and if we could possibly weaponize those to the point that they would block dragon fire, even if only temporarily, and thus be able to install those at intersections and provide at least some relief to any forces that might have to defend against, say, a fire-breathing dragon.
That is something that could possibly be done, though. For that, Freya's people would need to reconnect Dammerhall with the heart of the mountain, which was Bendrak did something to it. No one's investigated it since.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should start making that up.
That's the kind of answer that was deciding what I'm gonna do next season.
Although, if we get Clan Embermane here,
Yes,
It
well,
might be-
we're going to be doing that role play scene as soon as Freya decides her action.
I just for the same time period because I typed it down there. I'm just doing the same thing. I did last.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just roll it then.
Okay. Close, but still not making a lot of progress.
I did have a question before we get to the delegation, Gamo.
Mhm.
Would I have been able to like ask around anybody who might know anything about the details of this clan, so I could like have like a starting off point, like would I like to learn the names or anything like that about the people?
Yeah, you do know. Hold on, I have it written down here. That their current clan head and clan Longbeard, same person. Every dwarven clan has three kind of roles. There's the clan head, which is the leader of the clan Longbeard, which is like the most elder dwarf, and the clan champion, which is like their best fighter. It's not uncommon for someone to share two titles at once, just never all three. So their current clan head is an elderly dwarf by the name of Eldrin Boldsong. He is a well-known scholar of dwarven history and lineages, known for his sly demeanor and quick wit, as well as having ears in every court across the continent.
So him and Fergus will either go out along swimmingly or want to kill each other immediately.
Mm-hmm.
No in between. Gotcha.
And definitely going to the delegation, you'll want to put some thought into what you're going to be offering them as possible holdings here within Dammerhall for them to start throwing support here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I've been trying to think of what would be the best option for that.
So, do we want the forge, the Golden Foundry, to remain state territory? Or are we willing to put that under the authority of the clan? Because that could be a big selling point.
Well, right now it's nothing. But
Right.
Yeah.
Right now it's nothing. But so is basically all the land of value.
Well,
Out of
and
curiosity, I wouldn't give away things that are beneficial to us.
I mean, the Golden Foundry would be a big get, but then if they did repair it, any goals the deuce, you need to bargain with them for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. It depends on if we again want to leave that state property or if we want to give it into hands
like how much would
it's
I
good
guess
at that.
Definitely don't give the weapon manufacturing to a rival clan.
I'm also curious, like how much, like basically land would be considered sufficient? Because me as a player, I'm not sure what would be considered that. Like, would you require to give them like a whole floor of Dammerhall if we wanted them to and get a piece of this basically?
That would certainly win high degrees of support. There's a difference between a clan supporting and being in and then swearing an oath of loyalty. An oath of loyalty is like the ultimate end goal, because then dwarves take oaths is a pretty big deal. So if there's a succession crisis, they'll back you. But getting them involved in the city, because moving a lot of people from their pre-existing holdings to you, it's like, what's in it for my folks to come and support you in this rare endeavor?
This is the alchemist like meddling party.
This is the scholar ones that like to meddle. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them. Don't give them much.
I do also have one more question. What is like you said they have like ears and like many different core stuff. Are they more of like the kind that'll be willing to work with other people like humans, elves, alike, or are they more on the other side?
I guess it's. I feel like your current information, without Ivy doing background checks, which would have been her own action, is you're not certain of their opinions on other races. They're not famously racist like Oak and Thunder.
Yeah.
Though Oak and Thunder's only against elves. They're cool with humans. Yeah. The ears in every court thing I should specify was in every dwarf.
Gotcha. That's why I wanted to clarify.
Hey, Richard, and Gumbo, I've got an idea. And this would affect gameplay as we go through this kingdom building thing. Fergus, when you're going to go into these discussions, out of character or in character, we would all have like round table discussions beforehand. Before you go into this negotiation with the clan, do you want to go down the list of die up at the top and be like, Taskell, what's your opinion of this clan? Thrum, what's your opinion of this clan? Freya, what's your opinion?
Well, for the future, we probably should look up, like you said, have Ivy kind of do some information gathering.
Yeah, and also but to give us some structure so that we're not just all interrupting each other. Like Gumbo could give the overview of them, and Richard, you could ask, going down the die list, like Kenneth or Taskell, what's your opinion? And that way you could get all our feedback, and then we could shut up and you can RP.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, Gumbo made a good point. Like, this probably won't work for this particular claim since we already did it, but we probably should have Ivy devote time to start gathering information about the other clans before we contact them.
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea. Yeah.
6 other main clans?
There's, I think, 8 total. Yeah, 8 total. So there's 7 more after this one. So.
First floor was largely untouched. Was it the second or third floor the Foundry was on?
Third floor.
Third floor. I mean, if we're not what about like a tract of land basically directly around the Golden Foundries that have basically direct access to it?
Well, I was thinking
like the initial setup as well. Was there anything notable on the second floor?
That's where the Forge Fanes are, the Surface Gates. There's an extremely famous brewery that's currently in ruins. The former temple, the Temple of the Ancestors, which has been restored, though it's still surrounded by the wreckage of those factories that have been destroyed but not cleared or smelted down again. Lots of broken metal everywhere in Dammerhall currently until repair crews from Freya's folks get around to that.
So it doesn't matter too terribly much how much we do have a second floor.
Well, what I was thinking of, because the second floor sounds like it's going to be a lot of like the researching and stuff anyway. The third floor was more like that, I think. I can't remember how. But whichever one, like Gumbo, you clarify for me. Whatever one that usually has like research and crafting, like specialty things. What I was thinking of that Fergus was proposed to them would basically be a good sized section of not the entire floor, obviously, of being able to have in the
that'd be a huge. I mean, that would absolutely get them on your side. But giving them an entire fourth of Dammerhall would be like
that'd be a little nuts.
Yeah. Let's back up. Would the second floor hold all of the clans?
I was thinking that it would be divided under quarters or
Gombo's big enough to essentially hold every clan, and we just give them all a section.
Well,
that would be then more also probably
It would
like
at least be an initial representation.
yeah, it would be initial representation. On paper, you guys would also eventually probably have mining operations outside of Dammerhall. And then rather than you guys needing to send guard patrols to each and every one of those, you go, you, Clan Fuck Nuggets, you get control of this section. Congratulations, shake my hand, you go build it. I want my taxes.
So
She'll get glad to hear that clan.
So my idea was that I don't know how Fergus would word it, but basically the implication is if they join us early on, then rather than getting a quarter of like say floor 3 or floor 2, depending on where the crafting and research of this stuff would be, they would get a third rather than a quarter if they join us early on, but like frame it in a way that doesn't sound exactly like that.
Yeah.
The political backtalk, but also imply that we're planning on building relations with the deep gnomes and that they have some impressive technology that they've been developing, and we need somebody who is intelligent to helm the operations for that, and then basically promise that they could be at the forefront for the trade with those nations once we establish connection.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my idea for you guys. Which would also imply that they'd also be in control once we set up a trading hub at that one location if we can work with Corsiconia. I think we should consider maybe getting that towards the Embermains if that would work out for you guys.
Yeah, it's a small backtrack. You did mention that brewery. What clan did that originally belong to, if any?
You are not certain, honestly.
Okay, so research that a bit, because that could make a nice little bargaining chip.
Mm-hmm.
Even just giving them the territory to build themselves.
Yeah. But unless anyone has an objection to that, a good portion of a floor to establish basically an embassy for their clan, essentially.
Wouldn't be an objection, Fergus. I'll go with whatever you say, but there are 8 clans. And if they don't all have space on the second floor, they're going to consider it a slight.
Well, who's to say they all want to be on the second floor? From what I understand, one of them is a clan of basically barbarians. They seem to be more of the outdoorsy type, to put it mildly.
And there's a difference between having an estate in an area and I rule it as the Jarl.
Yeah. And I would be like you would actually. Good.
I was going to say it's a good time to maybe ask what the different divisions of dwarves are, whether or not it's hill dwarves, mountain dwarves, or like when I was playing Baldur's Gate, I saw they had 2 different kinds of dwarves. Mm-hmm. There were like gold dwarves and the other one shield dwarves, I think.
Oh yeah, that's the gold dwarves and shield dwarves are very forgotten realms.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a good thing. I hadn't gone through with. I created a couple of dwarven subclasses for you guys. I hadn't gone through and done that with all the clans. I would definitely say, let me see here.
Because it would just be good to know where to put everyone. We don't want to put hill dwarves deep underground.
Yeah.
Also,
do we want to wait on carving out the kingdom until we have a map of it?
It's probably. I mean, interior of the city is interior of the city. It's not
I thought it was kind of vague anyway, right?
Yeah. We could grant them an estate and just say we'll be divvying up land soon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Grant an estate, imply that if they are one of the ones to join us early on, they might get a slightly bigger estate. Kind of.
Yeah. I like that wording. Rather than you get a third or second floor.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was just as an example.
Yeah. I got you. I feel you. I'm sorry.
But then my main thing was they again. I feel like scholars and smiths are going to get along with the deep gnomes and their more artifice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that we should talk about having them, if we get that territory, have them helm that city, that settlement that we're going to make. That's going to be responsible for the trade with the gnomes and possibly with the Skizrael and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good like initial bargaining chip. Be like, hey, we know a way to trade with other peaceful races of the Underdark, like the Deep Gnomes, the Zan, the Skizrel. And if we get proper control of that from Corsiconia, I think that would be a perfect fit for the group of you that are such great scholars to trade with artificers of the gnomes, and yada yada yada. Is a promise of future landowning, provided we can take care of it. But we're not planning to give them a whole section of Dammerhall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this would also be a time where, as we're discussing this, Fergus would make it very known. He does not think all of the clans are going to join us. He knows at least two of them that are probably going to fight us.
As even Thymus would tell you that like it's one of those things that the more great clans you get, the less likely you'll get the rest of them.
Yeah. Like he knows, like as much as he would love to get Clan Oak Thunder because they mesh with a lot of his ideals, the fact that they're outright hunting elves is going to be a major deal breaker for Fergus.
Mhm.
If they promise not to do that, it would not happen, and they seem to be staunchly avid elven hunters. At this point, he's thinking of not even sending them a letter to delegate with them.
Yeah.
To reiterate, Clan Oak Thunder hates elves to the point where other dwarves think it's kind of excessive.
I have no Clan Oak Thunder fucking shit elf hunters.
I mean, if you want to go to war with a drow, they're your boys.
Yeah. But they just hate all elves equally, whether they're drow or not, whether they're attacking them or not, it seems like. So he's at this point not even like if they approach him first, he might talk with them and speak with them peacefully. But he's not going to honestly approach them at this point. He's more likely to go to the barbarians than them.
Yeah, and they're just seem likely to push for war against everybody around.
Also, the barbarians are old traditionalists, so there's a chance that I'm not really able to delegate them very well either.
I mean, they're more old school than even Taskell and Thrum's old school.
Yeah, so those
like
metallurgists
are
clan.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to meet the delegation with Elwyn Boldsong, who is going to be at the reception with Fergus, because you're the
Wait a minute. Are they the Dwarven Amish?
Who?
Cinderax.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Nice.
I was starting to get his mindset of Emberman. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're not. Cinderax? Yes, they're definitely the dwarven of the Amish.
But no Mogron will be there.
All right.
Oh wait, did you ask who would be there?
Yeah, who would be there? I mean, presumably Fergus have to unless you really want to fucking insult these people.
No. Be there. He didn't have to be there. Having a high priest would probably be a good show of
Is this a feast?
This is like this. I mean, do you guys want to make it a feast? I mean, you're the one throwing out the
like. Would it get like a radio? Like he would. It would be a moderately well, like more often, better than they're eating normally.
Who are we eating?
I'm going to break the entire budget of the kingdom and throw this lavish banquet.
Drum's there.
Yeah. Fergus would be like the onion best behavior.
The delegation.
I'm not going to talk unless you ask me to talk.
That sounds weird. Explain pleasantries only. Do not talk about anything beyond that, please.
That's too long of a leash.
So who are we meeting with?
Clan Emberbane.
They're the scholars, runesmiths, they're meddlers.
Yeah, Frey's gonna go swim them.
All right.
Are we bringing a piece of the dark iron?
I mean, are you discussing that over political negotiations?
No, that was what I was going to do is... Okay, hear me out, Gummo. There's going to be the political stuff for you to explain places over this nice lavish dinner. But before they go, it's going to be a field trip time. It would probably take whoever's in charge of the delegation and a person they trust with him to explore some of the... not the entire... golems that are all kind of packed down, but probably a smaller section of them to show them what they're dealing with and why they believe that Embermanes are the most likely the best plan to help them research this.
Mm-hmm.
But like he would want to make the welcome dinner as pleasant as possible for her.
Yeah.
And then take them on a field trip to show the gravity of the situation afterwards.
Yep. I like that. Good call. Yep.
That's a very good idea. Thrum would like to run security on y'all's brigade and have Ivy running counters for security.
What do dwarves have for dinner?
Button.
Security.
Popping
out of the gravy boat, yelling, "Rich!" Drunk.
Rock.
This is our security team. This is a security team that covers the security team. I've wanted to take bullet for the first security If a terrorist wants to shoot the king, he'll have to get through the conga line first.
Operation Human Shield Go.
This is the third security team. We're not allowed to turn down applicants.
All right. So just before we get into me describing the delegation coming in, and we'll just go into in-character roleplay. Quick question for the king. Right, so you're doing a reception and a feast. Are you going to do a traditional dwarven formal wear, and are you going to do traditional dwarven food?
Traditional dwarven food, but he'd probably wear the same thing that he got thrown like the crown and stuff with his like fancier leather armor, but not like traditional plate mail.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have traditional food.
Are you going to drink the ale as well?
Yes.
Okay.
He prefers wine, but he's fine with ale.
Yeah.
He knows he's not completely stupid. He knows that would be a considerable faux pas in the dwarven feast to drink wine.
So the Embermain delegation is announced into the palace where you are sitting upon your throne. Traditional greeting. I have all the people who are present, which sounds like all of you. Are kind of like flanked out to the sides. They're all the Embermains are all decked out in their color of red and gold. In the front is an elderly dwarf walking on a golden cane. His beard is mostly gray, with a few flicks of red still in it. He's got like glasses resting upon his nose, and his beard is like braided into multiple like pleats that end with golden rings. You've got the description. This is Elven Boltsong.
Freya is purposefully gonna wait about be like 10 minutes, fashionably late. And then I'm just going to enter in my mech suit to begin.
Nice.
Well, for these guys, come on, you gotta.
Is it worried about bow tie?
Doesn't it currently look like Mother Fine?
It does, yeah.
Just saying, maybe bow tie, not.
All the dwarves of Clan Embermain are wearing heavier armor, except for Elwyn in the lead. He is wearing robes, but he's got like armored pauldron stuff because he's getting up there in the years. Even formal wear has to give way to the fact that my spine doesn't work as well anymore. He goes before the throne. He goes into his lowest bows. He does. He says, "Lord Fergus, it does this old heart good to see these halls restored to proper dwarven hands. It is an honor to be housed within them."
Fergus would give a nod and say, "The honor is mine." Elder Boltsong. The fact that you responded so swiftly to my letter shows a gratitude towards our people, and it is a joyous occasion that our clans can meet peacefully to exchange a feast and a pleasant evening together before we talk business. Please sit and enjoy. And he like motions the food, describes what it is and stuff.
Indeed, a most joyous day indeed. And if these old eyes are not failing me, I do believe that fellow to your right there is none other than Nogrim Runic, the first grudge blade, 300 years, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir. I'm honored that you recognize me.
Most impressive, young lad. Well, you offered me food in a chair, good lord, I shall not turn it down. Anyone who's interested can give me an insight, right, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, insight.
This isn't going to. It's advantage persuasion that I have advantage on for dwarves.
Yep, this is inside. This is reading room.
Man, I rolled a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get my it's my dice used for this, right? No, unfortunately not.
Yep.
God, I have 12 over too, damn it.
Is that everyone who's rolling insight?
Yeah, no grumps.
Yeah.
He's got -1 to it.
Wildly enough, Thrum is the one that picks up on this. The Longbeard has referred to Fergus twice as Lord, not King, or Your Majesty. And Fergus has not corrected him once.
I mean, to be fair, that seems like a Fergus did not notice yet.
Yeah, 100%. Just so you can put that in your little head quiver there from.
I imagine I'm talking to any representatives of the church they sent at the time. So.
Yeah, they absolutely came with some of their own priestly stuff. I'm not. I mean, I could just spam a dwarven name generator and name everyone.
They're not hot yet.
Well, it's easy because they come in 2s and 3s, so that's Fofer and Loafer and Gopher and Fashionable and Casual.
I imagine I would eat at my throne, so I'd probably invite delegates to sit at the table that I'm sitting at and everything.
Yeah, a separate throne. You would have the big chair at the end of the table, the big long one.
Of course,
classic stuff.
I feel like in whatever setting I write, that's definitely going to have to be a part of the lore. Dwarves name their kids in 2s and 3s.
This is Gopher, Topher, Thrum, Bum, Tum, Don, Fawn, Son, and Cedric, who's fucking my daughter.
More like Bedrick, right?
I like how just doing random dwarf names, you did actually hit 1 or 2 that's in the Hobbit. I think Bofer and Topher are real.
Okay, so now Fergus, give me a passive persuasion. This is including your axe at advantage and all that stuff. Just to kind of see how the meal is going. Oh yeah, it's going great.
I imagine a lot of this, like Fergus is trying to play their adventure to discover the kingdom and stuff. So he's doing the thing where he's picking and choosing the really heroic moments of the travel.
Yeah, Freya arrives fashionably late in her suit. Big splash with the some of the runesmiths that came along. Probably getting engaging in that discussion. Yeah, you're definitely doing well. You didn't pick up on the slight political slight, but other than that, it's going very smoothly. The vibe you're getting is no hostility. It's very much an inimitable thing. They want to be here. They want to be at the bargaining table. You're not pulling teeth. So at yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, as we're talking, Fergus would probably be casually mentioning about future workings with like deep gnomes. He probably would actually be like showing the elder the spyglass and telling him to look through and see the technology that the gnomes have developed. Kind of planting the seeds of the idea that he has for them. Not outright asking or suggesting right now.
Yeah,
kind of putting the groundwork to really talk about it. Because you don't just ask things right away at a meal or dinner.
Look at this thing I found. Pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, talk about how they discovered lost technology. Obviously, not mentioning anything about knowing about it.
Yep. He's nodding along. Oh, yes. I have spent some time briefly visiting the court of King Speaks and 1,000 armies shall listen. That's apparently the name of their king. Yes. Sturdy folks if Nevlin. Well then, Lord Fergus, I suppose it is worth discussing, as much as I enjoy these pleasantries, it is worth discussing the business of why we have come. You are seeking to re-establish Dammerhall as a strong foothold and a nexus of dwarven people, and I am admirable to the idea. And the fact that you had reached out to Clan Embermane for support is most heartening. I am curious what role you think my people might be able to be a part of what is being built here.
Oh yes, there was some discoveries we made when reclaiming the kingdom. I actually planned for a small outing for you and those you trust to come with me tomorrow to show you some of the wear and tear the city that we believe your expertise and knowledge would greatly benefit the kingdom. In addition, and then he would start talking about his ideas for trade with the deep gnomes and a possible settlement that he believes would be ideal for a holding for his clan, and like throw in the praise of their ingenuity and stuff. Throw in like the fact that the artifice of the gnomes is good, but just think of how much better it would be with the runesmiths of the dwarves backing it and enhancing it further, kind of thing.
Yeah, he very much.
Want to say,
Oh yeah.
I just want to say that as you're doing this, Frey looks very confused as to why you're talking about infrastructure and shit, which he asked you for these guys to come here for a very specific reason.
Well, I mean, I think we established that he was saying that he was going to do that after the dinner.
Yeah.
He's whining and dining them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we establish that with Frey at time, she wins.
Yeah. Like we talked to the group, and I basically explained that dinner is more for the exchange of pleasantries, but the serious stuff about the golems and stuff, he's basically going to wait until the day after to take them down to show them some of what's going on with it. Because talking about it is one thing, but showing them what's going on will probably be a lot more indicative of what we're going through and what we expect them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically saying that there is something that we would think that they would be beneficial to have them here. And like how we said, like those who join Dammerhall again, like basically implying that they would get a better holding in Dammerhall for their delegations and such, provided they join us early on
And contribute to the
yeah.
research.
And basically flavor as like we obviously want Embermane to be here first because they have been involved with the clans very long time, and their judgment in terms of the political landscape are better than basically is the bee's knees essentially.
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
Top tier. Above the rest.
Yeah. Eldrin is always, very much doing the shrewd politician thing where he's like, I'm getting on in the years. I don't know as much about the runes as I used to, but some of the people of our clan and the delegation will be very interested. I'll of course come along, but I don't know how much use I can. That kind of false humility thing. It's the game.
Yeah. The back and forth humility and praise, that kind of.
It's everyone knows everyone's bullshitting. So in real life, this bothers the crap out of me. I'm just
it does. I hate it so much.
I know. But it's a very productive tour, showing everything around. Lots of interest in the reconstruction. There's definitely like some offhanded questions with some of the ruins of like what Vendrak left. Obviously, you're not saying Vendrak, but of the factories and such. You don't have to go into detail, but like what type of cover story are you going with there? Just like Lich built it.
Yeah, I think we agreed on just Lich.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then basically saying that you'll learn more as we talk tomorrow and stuff about why this became an issue and what the causes and effect. Basically, planting the seed. Yeah, I'm going to show you something for real tomorrow.
Yeah. And I'll say with that the sort of like pleasantry phase of the delegation wraps up.
Yep.
Imagine during that I took a moment to converse with Freya about ruins. The idea of beefing up that security, and then got the info that we need to look into the heart of the mountain.
It is sometime that night in whatever quarters that Milgram is using. That you get a message that the long-bearded clan head of Embermane, Elwyn Boltong, wants to have breakfast with you in the morning. Okay. If you'd be so inclined.
Yeah. No problem. People like company. Yeah.
In that next morning comes traditional dwarven breakfast of eggs, onions, mushrooms, bacon, and of course morning ale.
You had me into that.
Yeah.
Of course.
What breakfast would be complete without it?
It's basically just mead.
I would say a good citrus ale in the morning to get the dwarf started.
The dwarven mimosa, you know?
Yeah.
Poor mimosa.
It would be a problem if it was culture.
Don't call it a hiccup, though. They get very upset at that.
Yeah. You can't be short-sighted. Anyway, he welcomes you to the table and greets you, and you say, pleasant morning, Warthane.
Pleasant morning to you too. Longbeard. Trying to remember what was the last name.
He is Boltsong. Yeah.
Boltsong. Yeah. Longbeard Boltsong. I'm honored for the invitation.
I'm grateful that you accepted it. A bit informal, perhaps, but well, a dwarf of your reputation, I do wish to make the company of.
Have you studied much on Orange Blades?
Oh, a fair bit. I've known a few in my day, in fact.
Oh, really?
Dour folk, but honorable in their dedication.
It definitely is that.
How does that going for you, if you don't mind me asking? Not many grudge blades hold a position as high as yours.
It's been still new to the role, but there's a lot to build in, and I am looking forward to the challenges that come along the way. Or we're referring to my journey through the Underdark to get here.
I was referring to current. It takes a great deal of fortitude to have such a sacred role as a grudge blade and maintain a position in court.
Yes, especially this position. My allegiances are certainly to the people first.
As it always should be.
Mm-hmm. But it is a challenge finding that balance between, doing the duty towards the ancestors and those that currently live.
I couldn't agree more. I believe once upon a time I may have met your mother, I think, last.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, it's going to be your mom joke.
The world-long build-up to your mom joke.
Sorry. I couldn't hold it in.
It's been a while since I heard from them. So, yeah. A little bit before I left on the journey, but it feels like so long.
I would imagine so. Very long.
How did you come to meet them?
He studies you for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, perhaps my old mind is failing me. What was your mother's name again?
Let me pop into my bio real quick. Nary Runic.
Ah, my apologies. Perhaps I was mistaken after all.
What do you mean?
Oh, don't worry, just the tottering old ramblings of an old dwarf. Must have had you confused with someone else, similar features.
Mm-hmm. I imagine with all the dwarves you know over the years, it's probably easy to get them mixed up.
Oh, indeed. And from there we will go along to Fergus's grand tour, where I assume you show them the horror in the basement. Richard?
I was muted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you take them down, show them the entire swath of them right from the get-go. But show them where it is, and explain to them that, you remember that communication with the ancestors being blocked? This is why.
Yeah, it gets a lot less jovial from that point. Not accusatory or anything, but like very grim.
Yeah, and they're like, you see now why I sought you out, your clan out before any other clan. Those with the knowledge need to be brought to the forefront for not just the kingdom, but for our people, and kind of motion to the golems.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, this is most grave indeed. There's many within my clan that would wish to do nothing but research to try to undo this travesty. Tell me, Lord, what holdings are you prepared to offer my people within this domain?
I mentioned about the place on whatever we decided the second or third. I can't remember.
Second floor is the one with surface connection. Third floor is the one with the underdark connection.
Gotcha. Basically just imply the land holdings in Dammerhall. Not like the entire floor, obviously, but a good chunk area for them set aside, as well as speaking of he was earnest about how they do plan on setting up a second access to the Underdark as a safer route, and he believes that their clan would be the best ones to man it, as it has connection to the gnomes, as well as he would explain their interactions with Skizrael and Zan, and the quality of goods they make, and how it could be proved to be a very lucrative trade route for the dwarven people. And he believes that, those with knowledge would be the best to utilize such an access point.
All right. Give me another persuasion.
Just to get advantage on it?
Yep, still advantage. Still got your axe.
Yep. 24. All
right. Yep, he rolled 2. All right. Territory within Dammerhall itself. Quite prestigious. My kinsfolk are stonemasons as any dwarf, though that is not our specialty for digging large tunnels. But the repository of lore from dealing with the features is intriguing. Very well. On behalf of Clan Ambermane, accept your proposal.
Do whatever the drawer the handshake paper agreement right now.
Yep, I hadn't thought of that out of character, so we'll just say you do the thing.
Yep. But yeah, take them back up, because they probably don't want to stay down here in the dark watching all their ancestors' souls just in lifeless shells.
Yep.
probably take a little detour to like show them the different spots that they might decide to lay claim to, marking the ones that we're using for whatever we're doing. But give them basically, since they're the first ones to join up with us, they get the first pick of location to settle into a spot of land in Dammerhall.
Yep. And with that, I will distinction clan Embermane. Possibly can increase if you increase ties, but for now it's D8.
Mm-hmm.
See, I knew we should have had a D8 at breakfast.
Helps you stay straight.
And I mean, unless there's anything else, I think it's the end of the season and probably the end of the session.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Seems like a good stopping point, really.
Mm-hmm.